All right. Good morning, everybody. And here we are. We're live the 22nd of January. There's a new sheriff in town in America. It's tremendous. It's great. It's going to be amazing. We're going to land on Mars. We're going to plant the stars and stripes. And there are only two genders. I mean, what kind of a world are we living in where the president has to sign an executive order to establish a biological fact that there are two genders? That would be like me saying, I need to make an executive order to make sure that people understand that coffee is a liquid. That's what that is. That's how dumb that is. Anyway, we've got lots to go to today and very little politics. Well, I mean, we'll throw a little bit in. But I'm glad to have in the studio, and we're trying to do this from time to time, and it's really fun to actually meet the people behind the comments because we have one of the most lively comment sections. In fact, I don't know that there's any show in South Africa that has the kind of engagement and regularity of our comment section. I mean, it's like I always hesitate to use the word fan because I really hate the word. But this is bread that was baked by someone who listens to the show and who's a regular in the comment section. He is none other than Bitcoin Boet. Francois, how are you? Good, man. It's nice to have you here.
It's a lot of fun.
And you don't mind waking up early because you actually bake this bread first thing in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up,
Yes.
I start my fire, and if I'm lucky, I get to have my first bread in at 4. But unfortunately, I can only bake 2 breads at a time.
So you bake it in a pizza oven?
It's not a pizza oven. It's just someone's, we bought a house, and I just turned my braai, put a steel plate over there, covered with a few bricks. That Bob's
so you made this all yourself, and
yes.
you do it to sell or
to sell? I sell. Usually I bake Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's why I'm so.
And how many breads?
In a busy week, I'll do about 50 to 60.
Shit, man.
That's only happened a few.
How long does it take you to do that many? I mean, in a day, how long are you in front of that fire?
So usually it's about 40 minutes on a bread if I'm lucky.
40 minutes.
40 minutes, yeah. So I can only fit 2 inside there, so I have to take my pots out and then put them back in for a few minutes to brown. So 30 minutes in the pot, a few minutes to brown. So the other day on Thursday, I changed up my schedule a bit and I started baking at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had 30 breads. I was done 8 o'clock at night.
Oh my God. So you have to start super early.
I have to start super early, yeah.
Now, I'm going to get into some of the nitty gritty around this because I believe there's a whole universe in bread that I don't understand. And you have to be a proper expert to be able to get this stuff right. I know that you have to get the heat of the oven exactly right. I know that you have to get the mix of the ingredients proper. I've also heard that most South African bread tastes the same because we all buy our flour from the same place.
Yes.
So basically there's one factory or one company that makes all the yeast.
No, well, not really, because December I was very busy and I go through like 50 kgs of flour a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very busy and I didn't expect to be that busy. So I only bought 50 kgs and I thought I'll have a little bit of bread left over for Jan, the start of Jan. Didn't work out that way. So I went to go get some, if I can say, regular people flour. Like I don't want to name the brand.
Not your fancy stuff.
Yeah, it's not stone ground flour. It's not fine. And my bread was so dense, I had to say sorry to a few people, and then.
Okay, so you actually can tell immediately.
Oh, yeah.
After you've baked that first bread what the difference is.
Yeah, no, I feel it with my hand.
So you usually buy the stone ground flour.
Yeah, best flour I've tried, Eureka Mills.
Okay,
they're
brilliant.
Premium flour.
And do you add other stuff? Is there? I mean,
no, this is only flour, water, salt, and then my sourdough starter, which is a yeast pot.
That is so cool. I love. I mean, who doesn't love good bread, right? But the smell of it first thing in the morning must be a hell of a way to wake up. That's so nice.
The problem with when you're a chef, you get used to the smells, so it just passes you.
Right.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
And you told me, I mean, this guy's got an interesting story. I suppose everybody has when you get to know us, but you were on cruise ships as a chef for a while, which is fascinating. You also worked in Colorado in the US. So how are you feeling about the Trump presidency's first day? And I don't know, a whole bunch of executive orders signed. He's basically one of them, which I loved. I don't know if you saw this, but if you were paying real attention, one of the things that Trump did is he signed an executive order to beautify federal buildings. Now, you know, this is a big bugbear of mine. I am just a massive opponent of modern architecture. When I see all this glass and chrome and all these fucking hideous utilitarian buildings that they put up everywhere,
it's not attractive.
No, it saddens the hell out of me. I mean, you could see even with the minimum amount of coverage that they gave outdoors, because it was such a cold day for the inauguration. I think that's one of the reasons they moved it inside. There are a number of others. We could talk about those too. But you see some of those really beautiful buildings, the Capitol, the Supreme Court, the White House. You know, these are buildings that were designed to inspire people, designed to make people stand in awe.
Uplift.
Yeah, and even the room in which he was sworn in, the rotunda, which is under the dome of the Capitol. You know, it's a beautiful building. We just don't build things like that anymore. If you consider the most famous buildings of the last 50 years, I don't think anyone has built anything like that out of stone, with attention to detail, with classical architectural guidelines. I don't think anything like that's being built anymore. So my favorite one of his executive orders is probably one that nobody else noticed, but it was to make everything beautiful again, not just great again, but he wants to make federal architecture something that makes people go, rather than makes them go, is that where the president works? You know?
Just to uplift the spirits,
Right.
I think, because you don't want, like, if you look at a square black building, no emotions.
No
emotions whatsoever. I wrote down a few of my favorite ones. He actually retracted 78 of Biden's executive orders.
Yeah, of course, Biden doesn't know that. Biden is still. Biden actually pitched for work today.
I think Biden was so happy to get on that last plane ride.
I was so happy.
He's going to go
Biden
practice on his bicycle rides.
Listen, people always say to me, "Why are you so into American politics?" And in this case, I really am. And the more I see of Trump and the more I hear about what's going on over there, the more depressed I am about the state of our government. You know, it's just, for America, they're able to, of course, it took a couple of elections and it took some serious freedom of speech issues, some censorship, lawfare, the weaponization of the justice system, and a ton of other things before they could actually get this guy in for the second term. And now I think he means business.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're so far behind. And one of the things he's also done, which relates to us in South Africa, so don't ever say that these things don't affect you. So apparently they put a pause on all aid, all foreign aid, everything. They're going to put it off for 90 days until they've figured out who aligns with their strategic objectives, which makes sense. What country in the world, and there are a lot of people who are crying and wailing, mostly communists who are getting free money from the United States. What kind of country takes their taxpayers' money, harvests that tax from people against their will, and then deploys it in places where those people have no economic, social, cultural, or political gain? You'd have to be an idiot to do that. And frankly, I think that a lot of people have been idiots who've been signing off other people's money to go to places that they don't really care about. So there's been a lot of noise made of the WHO. They've exited the World Health Organization, which of course was disgraced. They disgraced themselves, the World Health Organization, during COVID. I posted a thing yesterday. One of Biden's parting shots was that he gave preemptive and full blanket pardons to hundreds of people in his final hours in the White House. And among those people was Anthony Fauci.
Yes.
And some really, really crooked people. There were some people who were on life sentences for murder, multiple rapes, child molestation, a rogues gallery of people. Biden, just put up that graph of the number of pardons by American presidents. Next time anybody says to you, Trump's a threat to democracy, just look at this quickly.
Yes.
These are presidential pardons, right? From Ronald Reagan. He gave 500. George H.W. Bush gave the least, so power to him. Bill Clinton gave about the same number as Reagan, a few more. There were some controversial ones in there because he pardoned some of his mates. George W. Bush, significantly fewer. Then you see Barack Obama suddenly get all the way up to almost 2,000 pardons during his presidency.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but hold your breath because Donald Trump came next, about the same number as George W. Bush, not too many. And again, I remember the mainstream media wailing and gnashing their teeth at the end of Trump's term last time in 2021. And they were saying, oh, no, he can't forgive all these people. And then you look at Joe Biden, all right? During a 4-year term, bear in mind, Barack Obama had 2 terms. Bill Clinton had 2 terms. And so did George W. Bush, I think.
Some say Barack Obama was just ended his 3rd term.
Well, exactly. But look at Biden. Upwards of 8,000 pardons.
The most sly one I saw was his last one. Was like 20 minutes before everything was over for him.
Yeah.
It was like 5 of his family members for the last 10 years.
There we go. Great guy, right?
Ish.
So when people talk about corruption, that is corruption pure and simple. There's just no way you can paint that to look anything like the pig that it is.
If you take who Biden pardoned and now who Trump is pardoning, even before he pardoned people that was
they were in the January 6th.
No, I'm talking about his previous. People who were locked up for misdemeanor marijuana use, for example.
Right. That was when he got Kim Kardashian into the Oval Office.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now he pardoned the January 6th, like he calls them, hostages or peaceful protesters, if you want. And then just today, I think he pardoned someone called Ross Ulbricht. This guy got 2 life sentences plus 40 years for setting up a platform on the dark web to buy anything. And then Bitcoin is involved there. We'll talk about that a bit later. Yeah.
Well, you are Bitcoin butts,
yes,
so we have to get into that.
Can't skip that.
So here are a couple of comments for you before we get too much into the politics. So there's somebody here, Sweet Pea says sourdough is great.
It's very good for gut health. If you care about your gut health, I'd say switch over to sourdough. It might be a little bit more expensive, but trust me. Yeah, it's
now you bake your own, but most stuff that we would buy from the shops, how does your process differ to theirs? And how old is their bread on their shelves when you get? I
don't even want to know. Like because
they freeze them and all kinds of things, right?
Yes, but also you need to think, how long does it sit in the box in the back of a truck or in the back of a warehouse? And to be like,
when did you make this one?
That was you caught me on a very bad time. No. Next baking day is on Friday. But this was last week, Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. And it's still soft as can be.
It's still soft. Yeah. I froze it.
Beautiful.
I froze it. I put it whole. I didn't slice it yet. I put it whole in the freezer. So it lost, this freezes very well. Just, some people put their bread in the microwave. I like to
put it in the oven.
Yeah, and rather put it in the oven.
Oh.
I like to crisp it up with some butter or like in a pan.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but the best is when it's fresh. The crust is so crispy.
I love it. I love it, dude. So there are people here saying, Mr. Bitcoin's there. Lovely to see the face behind the name. Nice. Does Bitcoin Boet own any Bitcoin? Well, let's get into it.
Well, never tell someone how much Bitcoin you own.
Yeah. But you started early.
I started buying cryptocurrency in 2017.
Okay, it's quite late down the track. Yeah,
it's late, but you are never too late if you look at where it's going.
I spoke to a friend of mine over the Christmas period who's a big crypto fan. In fact, his job, his life, everything is around crypto, and he's obviously had a pretty good last 6 months. He's very pleased with how things are gone. He said to me, "Buy now."
Is he Bitcoin only, or is he
cryptocurrency? No, he owns a whole lot of different cryptocurrencies.
Be careful for that. Be careful with that.
No, he knows what he's doing. I don't.
It's with that you want to trade. The main goal in the end is to acquire more Bitcoin. Everything is going down in value.
Agreed.
When you measure it in Bitcoin terms, everything loses value.
Everything else.
Everything. When I say everything,
I mean you mean normal fiat currency, everything.
Houses, gold, cars. Like, to give you an example, in 2014, the average price of a house was around 50 Bitcoins. In 2018, 2020. The average house of the average price of a house was like 6.6 Bitcoin. Then in 2023, it was 4.5 Bitcoin, and currently I think it's like 3 something
Wow.
Bitcoin. Yes. So
Eventually, you're going to be able to buy a whole house for 1 Bitcoin.
not even 1 Bitcoin, 0.01
No.
Bitcoin.
So it's never too late.
It's never too late, because
and there are all kinds of discussions now about how governments and big corporations are buying Bitcoin as a kind of hedge against inflation and currency depreciation and all that kind of thing. So I've been a fan for a long time, but I gave up a while ago in terms of actual continued investment. I've still got some. But I think it's interesting also to look at what happened here with these meme coins that they launched over the weekend. Because
you're talking about Trump and Melania.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about how corrupt the Democrats are, I'm always happy to. And we should also talk about what bullshit these meme coins are. And I know that there are lots of stupid people who just want to do something for the fun of it. Maybe they just enjoy wasting money, throwing it around. Maybe they want to say to their friends they've got one. But if you're buying a Melania Trump meme coin, I mean, you don't expect that to go up in value.
You deserve to lose your money.
I think so.
I'm sorry to say that, but you do.
I do think it's kind of a little predatory that the Trumps would do something like this.
Usually,
I don't want to defend him on this one. I think it's dumb.
The only way I can defend them, not that I want to, but the only way I can is they don't know the market. They're not that familiar with it. I mean, I'm in there since 2017.
There's no difference between them doing this and the Hawk Tour girl.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, there's someone behind the project.
And by the way, they've made no money off of it. It seems like it's been a bit of a disaster.
Well, obviously people bought in and shot the price up, and then you must understand there's like 70, I think the Trump coin was 70% liquidity was owned by insiders, and then with the Melania coin 80% of the liquidity, the coins, was owned by a single entity.
Then it's no different to a pyramid scheme.
No, it is a pyramid scheme.
That's what it is.
So you can't defend someone on that, but it's a fast money grab, and I don't know how it will be defended. We're still waiting for this.
Where do you go for info on this? Because there's so many people who profess to be experts in cryptocurrency. And I mean, I've spoken to probably all of the people in South Africa and even some international ones over the last 10 years, who I consider to be quite smart, who definitely have not led me astray when it comes to the information that I needed about how blockchain works, how Bitcoin is administered and managed, and how you buy in and what you get out, and kind of why things are at the moment at the heady levels that they are. But there have to be, because ultimately this is it's a decentralized system, so there isn't anyone in charge. But there have to be people who you go, that guy, when he talks about it, he seems to know what he's talking about. He seems to have a very good comprehensive view of this, because it's like, talking to people about health. And you meet one guy who looks like he knows what he's doing, but his eating's up to shit, and then he trains once a week, and he's just got a good metabolism. And he won't give you the same good information and advice that the guy who goes 3 times a week and is very careful about his eating might give you.
I'd say just with Bitcoin, just go do your homework. Like, there's a saying in the Bitcoin world where we say you need to spend at least 1,000 hours to understand this. Yes, you can.
1,000 hours actually researching.
Yes,
listening
doing research,
to podcasts and watching videos, and I suppose that's why I'm.
It's not.
That's why I'm not a Bitcoin billionaire.
The way I got into this market is after I got off the cruise ships. Obviously, I had some money, got paid in dollars, no tax, all that stuff. So I asked my father, "What do I do with this?" And he's like, at 24, I don't know. Fucking, I'm sitting with 200K in my bank. What do I do with this?
That's great.
So he's like, okay, just take it to Standard Bank. Just put like 60,000 in the savings account and let it sit there for 6 months and see what happens. So okay, I did it. I got back like I can't even remember if it's 3,000 rand or 6,000 rand, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, why?
Yeah, nothing's happening.
No.
No.
And then I
You
started.
see such piss piddly returns,
Yes.
right?
And then then obviously by that time I knew about cryptocurrency, but I didn't know what Bitcoin is. So I started buying. You've heard of Ethereum?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So I bought some Ethereum. I bought some Bitcoin. I sold and I bought, but then now I had I sent Bitcoin to some scams, like mining scams on Telegram, where they would say, "Give me 1 Bitcoin, I'll give you 2 Bitcoin back in a week," or something like that. Like, you don't understand the market.
And then you've lost money.
I lost
like
about,
everybody
in
has,
today's
right?
money,
Yeah.
in today's value.
Yeah.
I lost around 300K.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Man. Doesn't that
yeah.
break your? Oh man, that would break my spirit. I'd be
you'll
furious.
you'll go. I still go and I look back at some bad purchases that I made.
No, I know. I mean, property. Everybody makes a bad
Yeah,
decision here or
yeah.
there.
You just need to get over it.
I always joke on the show, because you're a regular in the comments section and you listen. Don't take my investment. In fact, don't take anyone's investment advice. You have to work this shit out on your own, and you have to understand what's going on. There is no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. It's a scheme. It's never going to deliver the results.
The best advice I can give someone in this space, because I'm not a financial advisor,
Right? Of
but
course.
I went to go do my homework, so
Right.
I understand what I'm in for. I'm 100% Bitcoin. Well, okay, 99.8%, because I still have to have some funds for my little business that I'm running.
No, your bakery and everything else.
But I'm saving my money in Bitcoin. So all you need to do is put your money in Bitcoin and then start learning what it is. Learn how to store it, because if you're going to store it on an exchange, it's not your Bitcoin. The exchange is holding your keys. You understand the keys, the 12 or 24 words?
Absolutely.
They hold that. So it's not really yours. We say not your keys, not your coins.
So if you need to cash out some money from your Bitcoin, how do you go about that? That's a complicated business.
No. So I've got an app on my phone where I keep some, it's called you get a cold wallet and you get a hot wallet. A cold wallet looks like a USB stick.
Yeah.
It's made to store your Bitcoin, nothing else. So majority of my savings is there. Right. But then I have a hot wallet on my phone, which I can access right now. Just take a few grand off of there, put it in Luno, for example, sell it on there, send it to my bank. I can do that within a day.
And then, of course, that's where the fucking government
gets
involved.
I have to withdraw. Like, I have to start thinking.
You have to pay tax on that.
You have to pay tax on that, but I need to build myself a pizza oven now. So I'm looking.
You know how I knew that it is time for us to move beyond governments? Is when someone told me that they tax the chicks on OnlyFans. When someone told me that, I was like, for government to have figured out. I mean, OnlyFans is still a relatively new idea, right? In the span of human history, it's a couple of years old.
No, but it's actually the oldest profession.
Well, yeah, sure, but they figured out how to tax. They still haven't figured out how to tax hookers on the street, because that's cash.
Yeah,
But they figured out how to nail girls who take off their clothes on OnlyFans, and I was like, "You sons of bitches!"
How much tax do you think the woman? What was 46 million or something she made in a?
Did you know what this chick? Yeah, I know which one you mean.
I wonder how much tax she paid. Because I know you get nailed.
I don't know. It depends which country she's
in. I just want to point out something there. Vyasan, he put up a comment, and I just want to say,
yeah, go to Vyasan's comment again.
Chat, I miss you guys. I wore something just for you.
Okay, it says Solana and Ripple made me some good returns.
Just for the
no, you're wearing Crocs.
It's a little bit dirty, but that's my cleanest pair I've got.
Fuck, that's embarrassing.
Hey, I'm a chef. Okay, so he said Solana and Ripple
yes.
Made me some good returns, putting all in Bitcoin. Now, I want you to understand what Solana and Ripple is. It's remakes of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first one, but now Solana specifically. Trump coin, Melania coin, all these recent meme coins, they are all based on top of Solana. So now you have to buy Solana to invest in one of these coins, to buy these coins. So now you're buying a Ponzi on top of a Ponzi. It's very dangerous. So that's a very, like what Vyasan is saying there, it's a very, very, very good choice, that, because in the end, my favorite thing to do is just go onto Google and type in Bitcoin to Rand, Bitcoin to dollar, Bitcoin to Solana, whatever. And then go on the graph, push the max, you get 1 year, 5 year max, whatever choice. Just choose the max option and then see. It's just like a red line, 99% down.
Okay.
That's on the rand, the dollar even.
Right.
It's scary. But then the other day, for the show, when I knew I'm coming on, I saw that. So for 1 rand or for $1, you get around 18 rands.
Mhm.
Now, you know what a satoshi is?
Yes.
Okay, so for 1 rand, you get 49 satoshis.
Mhm.
But that's going to start
Switching.
That's going to switch very fast.
It's interesting to me too. Like the people who've really done well here are the ones who've just held on and put more in when they had more to save. So it's not as if that's money that you can live off of. You must put it in there as an investment and just leave it alone, like people used to do with unit trusts and cuck.
I don't even know what that is.
Like a unit trust was a thing that was set up either by the banks or a building society in the old days. That would be a very safe, very
talking about a safer version of a stokvel.
Well, it's not even a stokvel. I mean, it was kind of an investment, but a lot of it had to do with government bonds and bank securities and all the rest of it. So it was a much more simple. Back in the day, it was very complicated to people, but it was the safest bet you could make. But your returns were, a couple of percent, 2 to 4 to perhaps 8 if you were lucky percent. And that was with no regard to what was going on with inflation.
Okay.
So I think that if people just consider that whatever you do with whatever you have in terms of crypto, that you're sensible about it and you just do it with, in the beginning, certainly for people who don't have a lot of money, it's got to be money that you are prepared to not have. You've got to put it in there and leave it alone.
So money you're prepared to save, because, like I'm talking about 500 rand. Start with 500 rand.
No, you don't need to go in with big money. Some people who put in 500 rand a couple of years ago have sat very pretty now.
It's called it's if you have a high time preference, you want the money now. If you have a low time preference, you save for 5 years. And
absolutely,
for Bitcoin specifically, you need at least 5 to 7 years to actually start seeing a return. I want to say something about inflation. You mentioned inflation.
Sure.
So with American inflation, now South Africa's like on the dollar standard, if you're going to say that, like it's very bad, because if inflation, if you don't make at least 14%, like your money, if it doesn't grow 14% a year, you're losing money because of American inflation. They've printed so much money in the recent years. They printed around 80% of the US dollar supply from, I want to say, the end of Trump's last era through the whole Biden era, because Trump gave out some stimulus checks.
Yes.
And there's a Bitcoin tracker that you can do to check how much worth the stimulus check is today if you put it in Bitcoin back then, and it's significantly high.
All right, so I mean, we're talking to Bitcoin Boet. He's our co-host this morning, and hanging out with him. He's always very lively in the comments section too, and I love that. I mean, it must be fun to actually.
My dad says I'm talking too much cock.
No, it's fine. Just ignore him. If he's not listening,
he's watching. He must be watching.
If he's not, well, he doesn't join the comment section, so I don't need to know what he thinks. If you want to comment, you obviously can join all these people. It's very easy to do. Just go into YouTube, and you've been following us for a while now, so you kind of know the gig. What do you want to ask me? Because when people come here and they're regulars,
putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, what do you want to know? I mean, like you're kind of getting to see some of the behind the scenes stuff this morning.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, I thought there was something behind me, man. And
no,
it's
only
nothing. A green screen. You guys fooled us. When I walk
we are changing it again. There are all kinds of things. You've got to constantly improve and revise these things, and people don't understand. They're like, well, we'll just get a set like Jimmy Fallon does and keep it for the next 10 years. You can't do that.
No, it's
and we want to keep upping the game. We want to keep on bringing on interesting guests. I just feel like everybody is now doing what we started doing all those years ago, with like interviewing people and doing the long form stuff. And some people are, the only thing we're doing that I don't think anybody else is still doing, certainly not large numbers of people, is the live stuff.
Yes.
And that's where the comment section comes in. It gives us a special edge that nobody else has.
I must say, so first I want to ask, is there anybody that's coming on that you had on last year that you know about?
Yeah, there might be. I mean, we've had some pretty big names in the last couple of months.
And
And,
then-
I certainly want to get some more of those
Uh-huh.
people. If someone was a proper hit, then you want them back.
Well,
you
this
know?
is my hint throwing
who,
it at
who do you want?
You missed so much fun in the comment section with Auntie Ruda.
Oh, Ruda Landman. I knew it.
The comment section
that
was
fun.
fire.
I was talking to Ben about her because he thought that was a hilarious show as well. And we had a lot of fun
He
because
was sitting there
Ruda
like,
Ruda obviously was still in the 2016 state of mind, right? When
okay.
she came on here on the show and started like getting all iffy with me about doing accents, for example,
yes,
which is really a 2016 issue. You remember that, guys? Yeah. And she's like, don't do that. That's very disrespectful. And when you are mocking people like that, it is very mean. Like I'm mocking her right now. And she just didn't get it. She didn't get that this wasn't a news show and that I don't take anything seriously and she's not in carte blanche and you can just chill, like come in and have fun. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
And I think we rescued it because at the end of the show, she was a bit like deer in the headlights about it because I think that she'd found this was not a warm, receptive environment for her to chastise anybody. But I know I could see you guys, and I was also just trying to manage what was going on in the studio, which was hilarious.
You couldn't read that comments out.
And Ben was like, he was shook, ready. No, he was ready to burst into a fit of laughter almost every 5 seconds. It was really, really cool. I love the fact that stuff can happen, and that can only happen live because in a recording, someone like that will say to you, no, can't we cut that out afterwards? And you kind of have to give them the right to do that. I'll never put stuff out that makes people deliberately goes out of its way to embarrass them. I mean, that would be shitty.
Do you think she'll come on again?
Oh, I'll invite her. Listen,
Okay.
I've known Ruda, not like personally. I've never like had dinner with her
Yes.
or anything. She's got a brilliant husband, Professor Landman, who's I think he's at Stellenbosch. He's in politics and economics, and she's a smart woman, but she's a serious person.
The Tanny.
She's a Tanny, but she's a serious person. You and I can talk shit, and we can laugh about things, and we can also be serious about the things you care about, bread and Bitcoin and all that stuff. But Ruda's only serious about the things she cares about.
Okay.
And I don't know that she has ever in her life taken off all of her clothes and jumped in a like dam next to the road or anything like that. I don't think that's ever happened, right? I think she's a serious person almost 100% of the time.
Okay.
Which takes all kinds of people.
I've
Hey?
got an auntie like that. So.
Yeah, dude, there's still lots of tunnies all over South Africa who are
Yes,
very, very
yes.
much like that.
It's just like this accent thing that she got upset about. I feel that's a South African thing. Like to do these accents.
Oh,
like,
please. Our comedians, most of them cut their teeth doing that stuff in the 90s and 2000s. And it was still funny. There wasn't a person in the country who couldn't do a Madiba accent at some point, right? You remember? Everyone did one.
Yes. The dance.
And a de Klerk and a I mean, everybody had like a whole bunch of accents that they would do because that's part of our character. If you don't do the sound that person makes, because we have all these official languages, we have all these characters in the country, it's not like you're mocking them. It's crazy what she was thinking. That's a very old school way to think, or a very woke way to think, but they're the same. They're both out of touch.
What's the Nigerian sound?
Something like that. So I went on this show on CakeNet on Monday night on the same issue that you bring up now with Ruda. So I went on, it's a show called In Gesprek with Lorenza Eckart. Okay, she's great. So the only reason I agreed to do the show is because she's really cool. Because I hate doing other people's TV shows. You know this. So I go on the show, and there's a guy called Piet Kroukamp. Okay. He wears a doek on his head and everything, and he's also an academic. He's quite a serious guy. He's got a sense of humor, but he's quite like combative.
Okay.
So I'm standing in the waiting room, the green room at this show, and I'm about to go on with a guy called Jaco Kleinhanses with Solidariteit.
Okay. Yes.
And Dirk Herman and all those guys at AfriForum.
Yes.
So Jaco's busy talking to me, and Piet Kroukamp comes over, and we're talking about Donald Trump because this is a Monday night, so it's the night of the inauguration. I've just listened to the speech on the car on the way there, and Pete starts like arguing, and he says, "But Did you hear how rude Trump was in his speech at the inauguration? The man has just no dignity. He's just a foul, dirty, horrible piece of shit. And I said to him, Biden deserved all of that. And he says, you are the problem. And he starts like having a full go at me, like shouting, like, and at Yaku. So Yaku says to him, well, let me explain why you're wrong. And he doesn't listen. He's not interested. And now, I mean, I don't mind this at all because I'm so used to having arguments with people and I enjoy an argument.
Yes.
But everyone else, you could see everyone else in the room is getting very, very uncomfortable, including Pieter Groenewald from the Vryheidsfront Plus, who's the Minister of Correctional Services as he is at the moment.
Oh, nice.
And they're all trying to like get involved to calm it down. And I want it to get more insane and intense. And by the end of it, Pete walks past me on his way out and he goes, "Yeah, we must get together sometime." And I go, "Yeah, that'll be fun." And we get on with our day and I go on the show after him. But I love those interactions. That makes life interesting. We don't have to be enemies just because we disagree. I don't know how much you and I might disagree about. I mean, I could bring up any number of subjects on the show and you'd go, "No, you're full of shit."
Yes.
And that's cool, right?
Yes.
This is a place we want to have those conversations.
I feel people learn more in heated conversations. They might not take it all in there, but something switches. Like a calm conversation, not everybody's going to pay attention.
Well, very few people can keep calm in a conversation where they have huge disagreements.
Well, they don't want to be wrong. Like I had this incident with my neighbor yesterday. No, it's a nice lady. So basically, I brought up Trump. I'm a big, I love Trump. Yeah,
yeah,
Trump
go
is,
for it.
Trump
you
is
can
cool.
say it now. It's okay.
What he did with the Melania and Trump thing wasn't
70% approval ratings at the moment.
So I don't know how this came up, but we brought up the only two gender thing. And then she's like, "No, but that's wrong. What he's doing, he's alienating people." And I'm like, "Listen, there is only two genders. No matter what you say, there's only two. Because if you've got male and like I told her this, if you've got male anatomy," I like spoke to her like this because she wasn't getting the point because she has TDS. So I told her, if you've got a male anatomy, can you go to the gynecologist and get your vagina checked? No. If you've got female anatomy, can you?
This is an argument you're having with your neighbor.
Yeah, because I couldn't
is
change
this over
her mind.
The wall or
no,
in the driveway.
In her driveway. Yeah. So and I told her, if you've got female anatomy,
don't you love the fact that because something is happening in an executive order in America, it's like this is the conversation in your neighbor's driveway. It's great. I love it.
So I told her, if you've got female anatomy, can you go to the doctor and get your prostate checked?
Yeah.
No. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about.
So what was her argument?
Then she brought up, but you've got two gay friends. Like, what about them? I'm like, I said nothing about the gays. I don't care if they're gay.
It's got nothing to do with
that. That's got nothing to do with
what's going on with their equipment.
Then I told her, because now she's almost there, but she's not there yet. Now I wanted to shock her. So I told her, like, if you are a male and you want to take your penis, slice it in half and push it in, that's a mental illness.
Yeah.
If you're a female and you want to cut off a big piece of arm to make a tube to represent a penis, there's something wrong with you. You need to go to a mental institution.
Yeah.
Then she started getting it. She's
now you're being horrible. So by the way, the words, this is so great. The words in the executive order were men pretending to be women or women pretending to be men, which is like, I know, but it's super insulting, right? To those people who are in the gender.
She brought up Caster Semenya
in the trans, what do they call it? The trans activist movement, right? Those people, they don't think it's pretending. So it's Trump's big middle finger.
Yes.
To all of them, right?
Yes. That's a big middle finger to the whole establishment.
It's so funny. It's also a return to common sense for some people. And I think that will make many people laugh. Sangos says, "Wow, they always teach us new things." Gareth, you're problematic, says somebody else here, that Don Kitty. Then Matthew says, "Honk, honk, honk." That's obviously
I love honk, honk, honk.
Yeah, that was Willie Madisha in Parliament. Talking to Naledi Pandor.
Come here with your hong, hong, hong,
hong. I suppose some things are to be taken seriously, says Dave. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I think everything can be funny or can be serious, depending on your point of view and your mood that day.
Mhm.
You know, we were talking with Leanne on Monday about like laughing at funerals,
Mhm.
which is for some people, it's a coping mechanism. Nothing wrong with that. It would be interesting to invite Devi on the show. Well, we
Yes.
had Devi on the show once before. Who else do you want to see? Yeah, I mean, you guys tell me what to do.
I'd like Devi on the show. Another thing that I think you need to get on the show is there's an X account that I've been following. They're called View for You. Have you seen them? Have you seen them? Oh man, you pay them
Yeah.
and they go inspect cars and houses for you. But like when I say inspect, I mean like inspect.
Oh wow! So these guys would go before you buy a car or a house and check it out for you. South African guys?
South African company. They just partnered with a big bank that's in
fantastic.
that's in this industry of buying and selling cars. So they
Yeah.
can save you. They save you a lot of money. Devi had a show about them recently.
I'll tell you what happened to a mate of mine. He bought his first house. He and his girlfriend are moving in there, and he only discovered afterwards that the roof in the one part of the house was a complete disaster. It's going to cost him like 50 grand more to fix that. And because the house was sold foot stewards to him, you know how that works. You don't get to complain afterwards. You can't go back to the seller and now say, oh, you've got to fix this for him. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing that'll happen if you don't inspect these places properly. That's very cool.
Now imagine that he could, like, if he knew about these people and if he chose to take their services, maybe $5,000 you pay. They go to the house, they inspect it to the T.
And that's a winner,
yes,
right?
Yes, I had this one's nice. Shut up.
Yeah, the Taylor. Shut up. That was when that turned. Who's the guy? Cameron. Ian Cameron.
Yes,
that turned Ian Cameron into a hero.
Yeah.
See, these guys don't realize like it takes one moment in your career for either things to go absolutely to shit or for them to make you internationally famous. And you can, along the way, create fame for other people.
Look at Jacob Zuma. He's famous for a lot of stuff, but my favorite one is like...
I wonder what he's famous for. Jacob
listen
Zuma's
properly.
Listen properly. Yeah, I mean, everyone in the world knows that whole thing too. I'd love Congo Chris on the show, says Matthew.
Please.
Yeah, we'll try and do that. Vusi Tembekwayo will be an interesting interview. Well, I've interviewed Vusi a couple of times. He is always interesting and also doesn't hold back.
Have you had like people?
We've got our disagreements, by the way.
Any music bands?
You know, not for a while.
Yeah.
The truth is, it's so funny. Like since I stopped doing music radio, which is 10 years ago now.
Yes.
I don't talk to a lot of musicians as much because I used to interview them all the time. So I knew these guys years ago. If you ask me who's new and who's around, I honestly can't tell you.
Okay.
Like I saw this kid, Will Lindley, at a corporate event that I had to MC a while ago. I had no idea who he was, and then I suddenly realized, no, he was the guy who I saw before at this big concert at FNB the other day. Before Keen, he was the opening act for them.
Okay.
And he's damn good, right? But I had no idea who this dude was.
Yes.
There's still names that will come up that I do know. I see Matthew Mole around from time to time. There are a lot of the DJs who I still know quite well. But I mean, who would you want? Who would you want in?
Get Rassi in.
Rassi Erasmus.
Get Rassi in.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to talk. Well, I'm not going to talk rugby to him. You know
no, but he's fun. He won't talk rugby to you.
All right, then that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, maybe he'll talk a little bit of rugby, but he's still got stuff to say.
Good idea. All right. By the way, Sugar Shabalala says, since November 2024, I've made plus minus 50K from the advice I took from Bitcoin Boots.
Yes.
There we go. But
there you go.
But he's not offering you advice. All right.
This is not financial advice. It's just smart advice.
Why can't we see the comments if we watch the recorded show? We'd be lucky to check that out if you. They are there. They're in the.
Yeah.
But we can't make them come up.
No, they do come up. If you go onto YouTube.
Really?
And it's a recorded show. Just press the comment section and they update. Like as the minutes go past, they update. That's how mine works.
Maybe, hey?
Yeah.
Lee says, I don't give a flying fuck what you identify as. Just because I identify as an astronaut doesn't mean I am one.
Listen, be what you want to be, but leave the children out of it.
So just show everybody this quickly. Here's Trump, and this has to do with the show as well. Part of Trump's pardon to start his regime is that he's forcing every man in America to get a podcast mic so they can start their own podcasts. Because, of course, we know that the podcasts had a huge impact on his election. And Rogan was there at the inauguration,
was he?
among others. Trump signs executive order to provide all men with podcast mics, which, of course, we know is essential.
That must be like what's that, Babylon B or something like that? That fake that
I
they
do
make
love
like,
it, though.
Yeah.
And then this is also good. Did you see some of the people at the inauguration? Crooked Hillary was there.
Yes, she wasn't very happy.
She did not have a lovely
She had a
time.
fake smile on, if I can say that.
Big Mike didn't even go.
Big Mike didn't even go. Yeah.
Michelle Obama, she didn't even go.
Barack.
No,
has to walk
Barack had to walk on his own.
Yeah.
He also didn't look like he was having a happy time. But George W. Bush looked like he was doing mushrooms or edibles.
He looked like he enjoyed it.
No, look at him.
He was after Elon. He was the guy that enjoyed it the most.
I'm gonna just have one of these in the meantime. I love that guy.
Listen, those Kamala, the front row there on the which side was it? They were
miserable.
They didn't even clap or stand up.
Well, they didn't have to. I mean, I don't think Trump was nice to them, and he doesn't have to be either.
No, he doesn't have to be nice.
But these people, they've lost everything. There's no one. There's no one to lead the Democrats going forward.
No.
They don't stand for anything.
Well, they've got that guy.
They don't even have any energy left in their protesters. There were people being interviewed on the streets as part of some march against Trump. There were about 10 of them, and they were like, well, we don't like him because he's disorganized or something. Like, is that all you guys have got? That's all they've got now.
Mm-hmm.
They've got nothing left.
I wonder if they'll change their minds in a little bit.
All right, we're going to take a look at the window seat quickly. I don't know if they'll change their minds, to be honest. I don't think they will. I think there'll be a lot of people in places like California who will say, look how badly this place has been run now for decades. We need to change gear. So that might happen, but I don't know.
Hope.
So I want to talk to Maria Watkins, who's the general manager at travel.co.za Leisure. And Maria is on the line. Hey, Maria, how's it?
How's it, guys?
Nice to see you, and I'm glad that you could join us this morning. So there's a lot to talk about. 2025 is here, a brand new year, and people are thinking about travel. Maybe they've got the Bitcoin, like Bitcoin puts over here, that they want to cash out and turn into an experience. And he's traveled. He's been on cruise ships, and he's been in America and probably some other cool places. But what do things look like for 2025? It's always good at the beginning of the year to get an idea of the trends. So you would be the right person at travel.co.za to talk to about this. What is 2025 shaping up to be?
Morning, everyone. So 2025 is looking fantastic for us in travel. I must be honest. January is one of our busiest months because everyone's been on a holiday in December and they're planning the very next one. So January is a great month for us in leisure. I think this year, Gareth, we're looking at experiences. People are looking for something a little bit different. So your normal destinations, your Mauritius, your Thailand, your Maldives, they're still very popular, but they're looking at doing it a little bit differently. Villas are a up-and-coming trend in Mauritius. So everyone's done the resorts. They're looking to try out the villa experience.
So what is, just hold on, because I don't know about this. What is the villa experience? I would imagine this is where you or a group of friends, family or whatever, decide to go and book a villa and then you stay there rather than in a resort. And how does that differ?
Correct. So the way it differs is you're not confined to a resort where you're chasing meal after meal. If you've ever been to Mauritius, where it's about waking up, your breakfast, you roll onto the beach, you roll back into the restaurant, roll back onto the beach. You can choose to have your meals catered for. You could choose to have a butler preparing your meals for you in the villa, but you choose when you want to eat. Breakfast isn't served between this time and this time. You can, most people hire their own car, explore the island a little bit more as opposed to being confined to a resort. It's that flexibility, a little bit more affordability, and they'll cater for your every need. You have a host online 24/7, so if you're missing something or need something, they'll go to the shops for you. If you want, you can go to the shops yourself.
Okay, I like the sound of this.
So a little bit more flexible.
Okay, is it also more expensive? Because I wouldn't know where to start with something like this. And it sounds like when you've got butlers and things, it would be, right?
Sounds like money.
It depends what you take. You can choose not to have the butler. It'll cost you a little bit less. But no, it's actually a very affordable. So the same way you find resorts that, cater from anything to 3-star, 5-star. Same with the villas. You can do it, quite simple and affordable.
Right.
But yeah, it's
I'm
just
actually,
a whole different experience.
I just want to go back to something you started with at the beginning, and then that people are busy in January in the travel world. And they're busy planning stuff. I suppose that makes sense to me because a lot of people, travel's a major thing. It's a big part of their life. It's what they work for. This is what I want to do with my year. I want to plan these trips to these places. So I suppose this is the right time to make those calls, right?
So you're sitting on your holiday in December, and a lot of people get their bonuses in December. You've already paid for the holiday you're on now. So you get inspired because you realize how lucky it is to be on holiday. And you start to plan and book your next one as soon as you're back. You want to secure the good deals. So if you're booking in advance, you're going to get those good price deals. So yeah, January is a busy month for us in travel.
So I know you've just recently returned from Vietnam, and it's so funny. I was talking to someone over the holidays who's also just been to Vietnam, had a wonderful time. Tell us about that.
Is an incredible destination. Before I tell you about Vietnam, I need to tell you about my experience getting to Vietnam. 2-day delay, flight cancelled twice.
Oh no!
I've traveled for many years. I have never experienced anything like it. Plane went technical, so you don't want to be on a technical flight, but you do want to get onto your holiday. And literally, flight got cancelled once. Flight got cancelled twice.
Oh no!
And what I wanted to share with you is just sitting there and witnessing, it's a massive plane you're traveling on, witnessing how people handled the news of you're not leaving. You have another delay, flight is cancelled again. You could very quickly see those that had used a travel agent to help them organize their trip, because it was one phone call or one email. And you could see the people that had tried to put this all together themselves. There was a bit of chaos. Because, if you've booked and there's nobody to contact, if you don't arrive at your hotel, they're going to assume you're not coming and possibly give you a room away. If you don't pick up that car you hired and nobody knows you're not arriving, that car's going to get re-rented out to somebody else. So it was interesting to see. I actually said to my husband, just look around you. You can see exactly who's used an agency and exactly who tried to do it on their own, but so be it. We all figured it out together. By the time we got onto the plane, you feel like you're traveling with your friends and family because you've spent 2 days at the airport with absolute strangers that suddenly you know names, you know faces. Vietnam is an incredible country to visit. I've been there before with my husband, but it was a first-time experience for my daughters, and it was beautiful to actually watch them experience the Far East. First time in the Far East with them. We had limited time.
Beautiful.
So that's
Look at that picture
that you've just brought up there. UNESCO World Heritage Sites. We limited our trip to just Hanoi and Halong Bay. Halong Bay as well, UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is absolutely the most beautiful, mystical place to be on the water. And, they still have functioning villages of 95 people that live on the water, choose not to live on the land, choose not to, have all the fancies of the world. They're very humble people in Vietnam. And visiting somewhere like Hanoi, where if you're watching TikTok and if you're watching Instagram and all of that, all you see is those bikes, and the bikes just go and go and go, and it's so vibrant. But it's also all about the sounds, the tastes, the smells, the people. There's just such an energy running through that city any time of the day. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Train Street in Vietnam. But literally the street is
Oh, yeah.
just big enough for a train to run through. And you're sitting on the edge where you see those chairs.
Yeah.
And a minute before the train comes, this little guy comes running out with a whistle in his mouth, just in his Vietnamese, telling everybody to get off the track because everybody's taking photos on the track. And this train literally comes past you. It literally just, you shouldn't breathe because it's that close. So that was one of our experiences. It was unbelievable to do.
So, Maria, I just want to ask you quickly, because Vietnam has always been, for people who do want to ride around on a bike, for example, I have two friends who did that years ago, and they had the most amazing time. And it seems that, you go everywhere and anywhere on a bike there. You have to know what you're doing, obviously.
Anyway, yeah.
So
only way to go.
And they said that, it's a very easy place to get around in. Is that your experience too, once you're in Vietnam?
Absolutely. So whether you're on a bike or on foot, it's quite simple to move around. I like the way you say you need to know what you're doing on the bike. You need to know what you're doing on your feet as well. If you need to cross the street, you actually need to close your eyes and cross the street. And unbelievably so, those bikes just maneuver around you. We did use a destination management company to arrange our trip. So we had a tour guide, and it was a great way to do it because they're able to share a lot of the history. They're able to take you to places you wouldn't necessarily know about. If Vietnam's very well known for their coffee, incredible coffee. We went to a really funky coffee shop called the Note Coffee, and all over the coffee shop are these little sticky notes. That's my beautiful daughter, and literally you order your coffee, they give you a pad of sticky notes, you write your own notes, you paste them anywhere. And you can spend hours in there just reading what people have posted. And the beauty of it is there's no hate in those messages.
It's like a real
love, and
it's like a real life comment section.
No, not your comment section.
No. So Maria, Sharon says here, just don't drink any non-bottled alcohol in Vietnam. I don't know what she's warning about there.
She's probably right. I mean, if you go down Beer Street in Hanoi, my husband was offered all sorts of glasses of stuff, and my husband being my husband, he's like, what? And I'm like, do you know what's in there? So yes, we did not try anything that hadn't come out of a bottle.
Okay, so just quickly, affordability in terms of South Africans, because we're always worried our currency's, not great at the moment. So what's Vietnam like cost-wise?
You feel like a millionaire, Gareth. We count in hundreds, they count in millions.
Awesome. Good. A country that's poorer than us. Yes, I love a country that's poorer than us.
What's the exchange rate like?
That's great.
So you shop like a millionaire, literally.
Okay.
But jokes aside, I mean, we're a family of 5. To go out for just a normal dinner here, an easy 2,000 Rand, just to feed our family. Over there, it was costing us 1,000 or less.
Sure.
And for the most incredible, tasteful food, they do a lot of the fried stuff, but they do a lot of the fresh spring rolls and the fresh stir fries. And, you start your morning off with a clear noodle soup. I don't pronounce it correctly. It's pho, but it was absolutely delicious. But really a very affordable destination. I think getting there, obviously your airfare is going to cost you slightly more, but you can have the most incredible holiday at a very reasonable cost. I mean, I would love to go back. We did the north. I'd love to go back and do more of the south. But a really interesting, vibrant destination, and I mean, we absolutely loved it. My children are still talking about that, and it's just the Far East is a different world.
I just want to correct Sharon here. She's just throwing in some more info. She said that there are apparently a couple of methanol poisoning incidents. That's why she said don't drink things that aren't from a bottle, because you never know. Apparently 8 people were dead and 2 South Africans were among them.
Sure.
So look, but you wouldn't do that in any country. Don't be an idiot.
No.
Someone gives you something.
Yeah, you got to be savvy.
I mean,
absolutely,
really,
it can happen anywhere.
Correct. But I love this, and Vietnam does sound amazing. I've only heard good things, and those pictures you showed us are superb. So thank you very much, Maria. And just by the way, before we say goodbye to you, being stranded like you were for 2 days, you obviously just didn't leave South Africa. So you went back home or whatever. But if you don't have a travel agent, like you said, you have to get someone else to sort out all of that stuff, or you have to try and do it yourself. And most people would just give up and then lose the money.
Yeah, so I think to mention, Gareth, the airline was phenomenal. First day they did notify us, we stayed at home. Second day when they cancelled again, they actually put it up in hotels around the airport. We stayed at Emperor's Palace. I said to my husband, I'm not going home because then the holiday hasn't started.
Correct.
So we started our holiday at Emperor's Palace. They were very good. They gave us meal vouchers. We went out to an Asian restaurant so we could pretend we were in Asia. And
it's a good second best.
And furthermore, yes, it was the ongoing, the arrival, letting your whoever's expecting you on the other side that you are not arriving, and having someone just rearrange our entire itinerary was absolute bliss. So, but the airline does try and help you while you're still here, and they were also great. I mean, they reimbursed any losses to passengers, so they were fantastic. Awesome. And it can happen on any airline.
Of course,
I've just never had it happen for 2 days.
Well, listen, it's good to have an expert on here to help us navigate the world of kind of getting your travel together, especially leisure travel now at the beginning of the year. So thank you very much. Maria Watkins is the general manager at travel.co.za in leisure, and we will no doubt speak to you again later this year. In the meantime, get in there and book travel.co.za, right, Maria?
I've got a question.
Oh, you want to
yeah,
wait, hang on, we got a question. Go.
Do you guys have any packages for Madagascar by any chance?
We do the world. So yeah, get in touch with us and we can help you out. Give you.
What do you want to go and do?
We do everywhere. We do local. We do international.
What do you want to do in Madagascar?
My lady wants to get some fresh vanilla pods and see the lemurs. So I'm sending out. I'm looking like if I wait a few months, I can at least put like 70K.
Oh wow!
Into that trip.
That's doable.
70K will get you a great holiday.
Yeah.
But it's rustic, eh? It's rustic.
I don't care. I've been around the world. I like it.
Vietnam's also rustic, so yeah.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Maria, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bitcoin Butts in the studio with me. Thank you. That's the window seat with travel.co.za. And don't forget to go and check them out to make your dream a reality. I mean, you don't have to remember much. Travel.co.za. It's the most obvious thing in the world. Madagascar does sound quite cool.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because
they farm vanilla there.
They farm vanilla there, and I think maybe in Mauritius.
Yeah.
But the reason Madagascar is because it's untraveled. They don't even have English signs and stuff.
That's right.
So you need a travel companion or like a guide.
You know who used to have a vanilla farm? He used to own a vanilla farm. You'll never guess. Nathaniel.
Oh wow.
You know Nathaniel, the Afrikaans entertainer?
Yeah,
Nathaniel had the vanilla farm. No, he did.
What happened? Like that's money.
Maybe he still has it.
That's
I don't know.
money.
Maybe he still has it.
Like a little one vanilla pod in the shop. I don't even know if it was Woolies, but it was like $50 for one pod.
And you want to get the freshest, best ones from source.
Yes. Like and then you can bring back a packet and.
So you and your girlfriend are both big into cooking and.
No, I'm the cooking one. She does curries. She does very nice curries.
What does she want the vanilla for?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
cook more with it than she does.
I do love that smell though. That's one of the best smells. They actually say vanilla's probably universally the most liked smell by human beings. Ooh. All right. When we come back, we will talk to South Africa's most famous Greek singer, and I've known him for a little while. He messaged me over the holidays. He's like, "Hey, Ella, why you not have me on the podcast?" So we're going to talk to Nico Thomaides, and he'll be joining us in a short while. Bitcoin But's still here.
Okay.
You can just give us 2 seconds, and we'll be right back.
I don't have any issues with people sleeping around. If you're wanting a strong relationship, it can't be started on the basis of we meet today, tomorrow we're sleeping together.
It used to be you'd go out somewhere social, you'd meet someone, you'd exchange numbers, and then you'd almost go on a series of dates before you even thought about sleeping together or taking things to the next step. This was in the age of models. That age is dead. Because now it's very fast. I can go on Tinder and I can find 2 things real quick because I'm cute. I can go out to the club and I can package 1 table there because they're drinking Savannah's. You check what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're within my budget, you know? PH can go, he can operate because it's a champagne table. Yeah, bo? It depends on the man.
Indy 500, where you at with that?
I've just, I've never understood it, but shout out to the milk.
Indy 500, 25th of May. Now, I'm bringing this up because this is actually, they say this is the single biggest sporting event, motorsport event of the year. Check the size of that trophy, okay? That's the Borg Warner Trophy, I think it's called. Borg Warner Trophy. What do you think that trophy's value is?
Just break it down for me. I have no idea.
That trophy is valued at $3 million, okay? It stands...
It looks like that.
It looks like... So, if you win, your face goes on the trophy. Actually, they put your face on it.
Yeah,
This thing is so cool. The Borg Warner Trophy is so ginormous. This has been going since 1911, the Indy 500.
Okay. There he goes.
Bye,
Joe
Biden.
Biden. Bye-bye.
Hey!
Straight into the
Yeah,
trash.
where he belongs.
So I posted that yesterday and someone on Instagram was like, that is so unnecessary. You're so mean. I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Really, people like that, just understand that your gay crying is not going to work in 2025.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? Look, I mean, get over it. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I've also got some news over here. Bitcoin Boet is with us. He is a regular in the comments section and somebody who has quite a lot to say about a number of things, including Bitcoin. And I thought this might interest you. There's some stories about Bitcoin today.
Okay.
Apparently, the Bank of America, this is just breaking news, ready for crypto.
Yes.
So this is what they say now.
So
That Bank of America's CEO, Brian Moynihan, has indicated that the U.S. banking industry is poised to adopt cryptocurrencies
yes.
for payments should
Yes.
regulatory conditions be favorable. And I think they
This
will
is
be.
inevitable to happen.
Do you know who Trump's crypto czar is?
Oh, man.
You should know this.
I should know his name, but I don't know.
A guy called David Sachs.
Oh,
He's
David
a South
Sachs, yes.
African.
Yes.
And he started a number of businesses over there in America. He's a venture capitalist now. And obviously, he was recruited by Trump to come in and help him make crypto great again.
But it's
So
not a
that's
good
gonna
start,
happen.
to be honest.
Oh, really? You're not
It's-
happy?
Well, the 2 meme coins,
No,
Melania
that's-
and Trump
I don't
meme
like
coin,
that
like
either.
the guy before the SEC of the Federal Reserve, if I'm not mistaken, Gary Gensler.
No,
He
nobody
was
liked
like,
him.
yeah, nobody liked him, but he like kept all the stuff out. He tried to keep it out, but he also suppressed
Crypto in general.
crypto a lot. Yeah.
Mm. So apparently, the statement follows broader discussions in the financial sector about integrating blockchain technology along with various banks globally who are now showing interest in digital assets despite regulatory hurdles and varying international policies and cryptocurrency adoption. So it's always going to be a subject for
But
discussion.
do you know that in South Africa you can go pay at Pick and Pay using cryptocurrency?
I know.
Yes. So it's not a new thing. Digital currency is not a new thing. It's just now it's different. It's decentralized. I'm talking Bitcoin only.
Yeah, sure.
It's decentralized. It's capped. You can't make more of it. So there's no inflation. It's a deflationary currency. It can't be manipulated. And it can do more than that. It can stop corruption.
Anything that can stop corruption with is a big plus here.
Yes.
So speaking of corruption, Cyril Ramaphosa, 2 State of the Nations ago, he said they're going to build this beautiful smart city, $84 billion rand smart city in Modderfontein.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at how that's going. First of all, have you got pictures of what it should look like according to what they spoke about? Because we were going to do it with the Chinese, right? Zendai Developments. And they were going to start putting everything together there. This is what it was meant to look like, right? So this the amazing facilities, beautiful buildings that had never been seen before.
They can't even build that with
Parks.
Lego blocks.
Yeah, just take a look at some of these buildings, like what they were planning. And then, can we show what it's looking like now? All right, so here's how Modderfontein is looking right now. These are taken just a day or two ago. That looks like a shit block of flats, if you ask me. What else have we got? Empty roads. Oh, wait, there's just overgrown stuff around the Gautrain. Roads that go nowhere. Great. Pipes put across the roads that go nowhere.
Stop people from going in there.
Yeah. And lots of for sale signs all over for property, for industrial property, commercial property. I don't think anyone's bid on those roads. They're like 4 tire tracks there. So you wouldn't regard this as a good investment.
Can you actually buy a property there? Like, you need to go to the ANC Lutuli house.
Would you want to, is the question.
Well, if you look at one day in the future, somebody will build a shack there, and then there will be a whole bunch of other shacks, and then a small community starts. So if you early, you can maybe sell your plot for 5,000 rands.
Sure.
It's not a good investment.
Sounds great, yeah. So this dates back to 2014 when the Zendai Developments decided they were going to build an $8 billion city. In 2015, they said market demand would drive the project. 20 years ago, nobody could have imagined Sandton would look like it did today. That's what he said then, which is what you're saying about the shack too. But I'm afraid things have kind of gone nowhere because on paper, it sounded like a great idea. Of course, before the Modderfontein New City plans, AECI, which used to own the land, that's the chemical business, they began developing small pieces of land. However, the distance between that place and Sandton meant it didn't appeal to many businesses and households. Changed when the Gautrain was launched. Then they saw an opportunity again, but it seems to have all fallen apart.
The Gautrain actually runs there, so
yeah, it goes right through.
Yeah, they can build a station there, and something might pop up.
Let's see. People didn't expect Stain City to be what it is.
Yes.
People didn't expect.
But there's money and security behind that.
Sure, but they there's also Waterfall. Look at how well that's done. So there's still room for development, and maybe it'll happen. And I feel that for people who have put money in there, I really hope you get your money back. But that's all going on as we speak. And we've got another State of the Nation for Cyril a little bit later on. Either this month or in Feb.
Imagine a smart city.
Is Cyril smart enough? Yeah. There we go, from Elvis. Come on, guys. So there's some news. And then I also wanted to throw this in there because influencers, of course, are having a very hard time at the moment with the TikTok ban still being very much on the table. So here's an influencer. Just she looks for inspiration in nature. And, sometimes even nature doesn't care about influencers.
Really powerful thing you can do when you're around the ocean is just ask the ocean to cleanse and clean.
Great. Just great. Even the ocean hates influencers. And it is still January, everybody. So
almost over.
Well, listen, for some people it should have ended 3 weeks ago because they ran out of money. But I saw this. This was being passed around yesterday, and I thought, yeah, I'm sure there are lots of people who can identify with this. The Winnie the Pooh. Is it still January, Pooh? Yep, Piglet. It's still fucking January. So for a lot of people, they're looking at your bank balance going, oh my God.
Freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that everybody's talking about and can't get enough of at the moment is AI. Language models can produce answers quickly, but often generate fabricated information, which is known as AI hallucinations. You heard about this?
No.
Due to factors like insufficient or biased training data. And of course, the internet's full of nonsense as much as it's full of useful stuff. So there's a lack of grounding in real world knowledge, which for a while, the machines aren't going to be able to replace us in. Inaccuracies in the sources. A recent case in South Africa highlighted this, an issue when a law firm presented non-existent legal citations that were sourced from ChatGPT You know, the lawyers, the one thing that you would think is that the lawyers still have to go to the books and check for precedent, make sure that statutory law is consulted. No, straight onto ChatGPT.
So trying to take the short road.
Yeah, the court criticized the firm for failing to fact-check the AI-generated information, calling their actions unprofessional and irresponsible. Despite advancements in AI, hallucinations remain a challenge, underscoring the importance of human verification. So lawyers, that means you still have a little way to go before you become redundant, but don't make yourselves redundant by going to ChatGPT in the meantime, because you will be caught out. And certainly don't charge us the kind of money that you charged us before you started using AI. If I found out that a lawyer I was using AI, I'd say a quarter of the price, please.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even want to use a lawyer like that.
No.
I would rather pay the money and
spot on.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get Nico in here. I want to talk to this guy. He's Nico Thomaides. He's a musician. He has shared the stage with legends like Antonis Remos, and he's keeping his fans hooked with his charm. He's got the vibes of a Mediterranean wedding, the charisma of a guy who's always first on the dance floor. And being a Greek Cypriot living in South Africa, he's got lots to tell us about that. So how long have I known you for? Is that a couple of years now?
I think so,
yeah. We haven't seen each other for ages, but it's nice to see you again. What are you drinking there? That looks like a...
Unfortunately, it's like a vitamin C.
Okay. I thought it would be more interesting. I thought you were having some ouzo first thing in the morning or whatever. So how are you, Nico? How's it going?
Right,
how's business? How's the music business?
January, it's, very slow and
quiet time.
Quiet,
yeah.
I mean, January, I think, has about 100 days in it, so it takes a little bit of time.
Like I was saying just now, it feels like it, right?
It does, unfortunately. But, things are going all right. Business is picking up slowly. Grateful for any work that comes in this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
February is usually much better. Everybody's waking up kind of January time.
Right.
But, it's picking up, fortunately. Some good orders this week. Hopefully, February will be better, though.
Good. Okay, so I don't know how much the Greek community has grown or shrunk over the years, but I was thinking about this just the other day. I was out for lunch, and 4 of the people at our table were Greek. And this is in Pretoria. I know there are more Greeks in Joburg even than in Pretoria, but how big is the community in this country? How many weddings do you have? How many Greek events
are there? How many plates do you break?
Yeah, how many plates do you guys break?
All of them, whichever ones you can find.
How big is the community in South Africa?
Surprisingly very large.
Yeah.
Surprisingly very large. I mean, when we do a lot of shows, there are a few thousand Greeks that come.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly very big. And it's a nice Greek community. I've had the pleasure, obviously, of performing for a long time. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of the Greeks in this country. It's also, I was even chatting to my dad about it the other day where, you go and you perform, but it's hello before you get on stage because you know everybody personally. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to have met the Joburg Greeks, have met the Pretoria Greeks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Different, same people, of course, but different mindset in a sense.
Is there still a thing between the Cypriot Greeks and the ones from the mainland? And
I think there'll always be a conflict. I think there'll always be
because people care about it, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think when I was in school, there used to be there would be arguments between the Greeks and the Cypriots in my grade, and it would be like, which side are you on? I'm like, listen, I'm half. I can't actually take a side there, So it would just be whichever side's winning.
So where Thomaides from?
So Thomaides is actually, so it's either Thomaides or Thomaides.
Okay.
The way you said it's perfect. It's a Cypriot. So my dad's from Cyprus, my mom's from Crete in Greece, from Rethim, no?
So for the Cypriot side of the family, Sikhamini Turkic, right?
100%.
100%.
Actually, we don't. We're more into the Greek side. Over the years, we've kept more familiar with the Greek side of the family.
And you said your mum's surname?
Her maiden name is Pandagos.
Okay, so where are they from?
So they're from Crete, from Rethim. No?
Okay, that's ancient.
It's a beautiful island.
Oh, I'd love to go and see Crete,
island.
Man.
And her name is actually here is Sylvia, but her name, her maiden, well, not maiden name, her actual name is Argirula. Argirula, yeah. So my dad's also is lucky, but it's actually Paschali. So he got it from Paschalakis.
So what are yours?
Mine's just Nico Christos.
That's all.
Yeah,
that's all we got. Christos.
Straightforward.
Second name Christos.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So tell me about the South African music industry, and in particular the Greek part of that, because there can't be a lot of guys who are able to compete with you unless they can speak because you have to be able to sing the stuff, know what you're singing.
Correct.
You have to know the music. It's different to everywhere else. You have to keep up with what's going on in Greece.
It's true.
You know,
Hard to get backtracks.
It's hard
I mean,
to get
it's all
these
Greek
things.
to me at the end of the day. You know? I'm just joking, but you know, it's a difficult industry, and it was a difficult industry back then. You know, there weren't many Greek singers, and also not enough big Greek events to say, okay, maybe I should start in this industry. You know what I'm saying? So it was difficult, and I actually a lot of it was because of the school I went to. I mean, I went to Saheti. It's a Greek school,
Right.
and I grew up in the Greek industry, and there was a Greek band at the time. And they asked me to come and rehearse and to try out for the Greek band. And I
Right.
wasn't interested in music at the time. It wasn't something I think I
Where
was.
people playing the bouzouki. And...
Yeah. We had Perikli Balabano was playing bouzouki, and also Marco Vidali they used to play.
And who was your major competition in those days? Notis Vakanakis?
Well, locally or you actually got it right. This
I got it,
Vakanaki,
right? Yeah, you remember him.
So yeah, 100%. He's got a beautiful song, Genetia to Thanato. So it's a
Of course, I
very
know
popular Zeb song where
Yeah.
breaking plates, you know, sort of a
There we
scenario.
are.
But yeah, look, it's a difficult industry to be in. I think before COVID, it was a lot better.
Yeah.
I think post-COVID, things kind of died out a little bit, unfortunately. But it's also now I'm kind of concentrating on my album at the moment. You know,
So
what I'm
that's
saying?
exciting. I mean, I don't know what's happening in the music industry generally because I haven't been in it. Someone called me a couple of days ago. They're like, my friend's got a single. I'm like, don't tell me, because what am I going to do? I don't have anywhere to play it. We don't play music
Play
here.
it on the show, and we'll see what the chat says about it.
No, of
Well,
course, yeah.
He'll
I mean,
probably never make music
do we
again.
have any clips of Nico? Did you take? Yeah, get me some of those because we want to show people.
Oh, yeah,
Of course, yeah, no, that's fine.
But before we get into that, I
Obviously.
love you see, stereotypes don't come from nowhere. And I love stereotypes because they're often very funny and entertaining and true.
Yeah.
And the Greek wedding stereotype, this is a thing people have from my big fat Greek wedding.
Of course.
I've certainly been to 2 or 3 Greek weddings. They are so much fun. There
A lot
is
of
the
fun,
breaking of the plates and all of that stuff. But the food is amazing. The music is great. People are always in a terrific mood. I can't say anything shit about a Greek wedding, but you must have seen some stuff.
The only thing that about a Greek wedding is the service is very long. So when you go
my
to church,
God.
it's like
Yeah,
3
yeah.
working days. You know what I mean? You really
And the
sit
crowns
there.
being held above their
Yeah,
heads.
it takes time. I mean, look, it's not that bad. It's probably about 2 hours long, but it feels.
Do you have to do the singing sometimes in the church? Because
Fortunately not.
because I
Fortunately,
mean,
it's not-
I went to a Greek wedding the other day where there was a guy who was singing the old Orthodox kind of chanting
Yes, the chanting, correct.
with the priest. So the priest would say something and he'd go, no, 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 no,
Correct.
or whatever.
So
That was
there's-
quite cool.
I don't do any of that, yeah, but there's a lot of them, a lot of youngsters doing it as well.
Mm.
We went to a funeral the other day, and a lot of youngsters are doing it. It's nice to see, you know. I was actually a papadaki, which is an altar boy, back in the day when I was young, and I never, you know, I wasn't into music at the time, so I never really got into the chanting kind of scene. But
It's beautiful.
it's nice to
Absolutely
listen
beautiful.
to. You know, I don't understand anything they're saying in church, to be honest with you, because it's
Oh,
all Greek and it's all like ancient stuff. And
I didn't either. No, it is. That's really ancient stuff.
it's hard to kind of follow. You know what I'm saying? But
Do you ever, because you get asked to sing at these weddings, obviously some of them the people you know. In
Yes.
fact, there must be lots of them the people you know. But do you ever, you know, also just join in and have like the time of your life as a guest sometimes?
you know, a lot of the times.
Or do you go in, professionally sing and get out?
So it depends. It depends on whose wedding it is. You see,
Right.
after doing this for a very long time, eventually it becomes very difficult to. You become tired, put it in that sense. So sometimes, also my my set is normally at about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my
So
God.
it's normally very late because
And
I
drunk
do Zebekika. Yeah, and the drunk. Listen, the Greeks are awesome when they're drunk. So it's not anything to stress about. You know what I'm saying? It's always a lot of fun being with them, and it's a lot of fun. You know, break plates, they dance, they come sing with me on the microphone.
Yeah.
It's an experience, and a lot of the times I prefer that. So you know, a lot of the performances where you have on stage, the bouncers don't really allow them on stage, and for me, I prefer to have
You
be
want,
in the crowd with him.
You want Uncle Stavros coming up
To come
with
there
a
and be like
beer
Ella,
breath.
you know?
Hey, let me sing as well.
And sing
And
the
then he-
wrong words,
yeah,
so
then
it
he wants
makes
to
me
sing.
go off entirely.
Stavros.
You want something
That guy.
unexpected.
The best is
Um,
when they come and sing to me in my ear. and they sing the wrong words and they sing off key, and then I forget the words, and then I start going sideways as well. And then I have to look at my lyrics, and I'm blind, and I'm like trying to read what's going on. I lost my line, and then the crowd's like, "It's this word," and I'm like, "Thank you, I appreciate it."
All right, so you said you were an altar boy, but then you didn't really get into that. So when did the singing start for you? When you auditioned for that band?
Correct. It was actually there was a piano teacher at my school, and name was Vaso, and a very, very sweet person. And we've kept in touch all these years. And I used to talk to her about wanting to sing or trying out, but my parents were very business focused. So in my mind, I was like, go business route, sort of a scenario. And it was hard to kind of think of or see myself as a singer, if that made sense, And Vaso said to me, listen, come and audition for the band. I think I was about 14 or 15 at the time, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm 30 now, just to give you.
Right, so it's half your age ago.
Pretty much, yeah. So I auditioned for the band, and I got in with the band, and I think I auditioned with the song Somamo at the time. And I went on to doing, so it was Greek music majority of the time, but I went on to doing the contemporary crossover classical music. That was something, so I was a tenor vocalist, and I did, Josh Groban type music and so forth.
Right.
And I performed a lot with, with local artists. I did the National Eisteddfods. I actually won contemporary crossover classical music for the Eisteddfods in 2012 when I was 18. And it was. I was also with June Kraus at the time. Shame she passed away. But she was my vocal coach.
I remember June.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her.
And
she was vocal coach for a lot of people in South Africa.
Yeah, no, she was. I was with her for a while. And that, from that, what happened was a lovely family, they contacted me to perform with the singers that came down from Greece, the Kavouris family. And they called me and said, listen, come and do the show. It was actually, just to track back a little bit, it was actually interesting how it happened. So Andoni Ramos came down. And what happened was I was supposed to sing with him with the band on the day he came to the school, because on a Friday, generally the day before the show, he would come to the school and perform with the kids. And unfortunately, I couldn't perform with him because I was judging one of the SA championships for karate, because I've got my black belt in karate, so I was judging, and I couldn't get out of it because I was grading, and I had to judge a few competitions to kind of get into the grading, sort of a scenario. Anyway, so I was very upset. I was, obviously being in the music and being in the music industry, and I was in the industry for a while at the time. I was upset that I couldn't get my chance to perform with him.
Well, you want to do more than one thing.
No, of course. But at the time, it was a massive thing for me.
You can't have everything.
But were you able to perform with this guy again?
Yeah, so I'm getting to that. So the next day was obviously.
But don't fuck up this story.
so what happened was the next day I went to the show.
It's a big fat Greek story. Leave it alone. Okay.
So what happened was the next day I went to the show, the concert, and I was sitting there at the back with some friends, and I think my dad went and said to him to call me on stage or something of the sort. I can't remember.
And you just chilling. You didn't expect it.
I was drunk. I was drunk at the back, and I was sitting at the back with friends, and I was drinking, drinking my sorrows, sort of scenario. And here I hear my name on the microphone. So he says, Nico Thomaides, where's Nico? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, man, that can't be me. I'm looking around, and my mates are like looking at me, and I go, and he says it again, and I'm like, shit, sorry, excuse my language.
No, you can hear.
I run to the stage. I get there, I'm drunk, I'm out of breath. And that was my first, interaction or performance on a big stage. You know
drunk.
What I'm saying? Drunk, tired, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man. And, I mean, that's a hell of an entry into the music world.
Yeah. So then after that, the organizers ended up calling me to open for the concerts. And it's been amazing ever since. I entered the Rising Star of Greece, when was it, about 8 years ago, or somewhere there. And it was such an experience. The Rising Star was, I like The Voice pretty much. If it's a competition, that's it. And it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, Bitcoin, but didn't you enter Rising Star of Greece once?
I'm not a good singer. when you were naming that one artist, I thought you were making up words here.
No, not this Vakanakis.
Yeah, no, he's a famous singer, yeah.
Oh,
so I entered the Rising Star, and I did well then. That also kind of boosted the career a bit as well. And after that, I realized that you won't get anywhere in music if you don't work on your own songs. And I was always performing. I mean, I would do just over 100 shows a year every year. It would be constant performing, and I wouldn't even think about doing my own originals because I didn't have the finance at the time to do my own originals. I just didn't know. I got into the music industry as a singer. I didn't learn any instruments prior or anything of the sort. And fortunately, I was put in contact with an amazing composer this side, Hendrik, and we've been working on songs ever since. I just released a new song, Santa de Los, which is doing very well about 6 weeks ago. And that was composed, it was written of a lyricist in Greece, Maria, and Dimitri. They put the song together and they sent it to me and said, listen, we'd like you to work on the song. So a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth for about a year and a bit, and then eventually we released it. So,
okay, so what you said you're working on an album now?
Correct.
Does that include that song?
It includes the song, correct. It includes, there's a set of a couple of, English music was never a thing for me, but I started doing English music because obviously
covers and shit, right? Yeah,
not covers, actually originals. I've released quite a lot of
originals.
originals.
You have? Okay, because I mean, people will also, drunk people at weddings especially, will say, do this song for me.
Correct.
And then you have to do that song. So
not always.
You can say, what do you say? Fuck off. What do you do?
I don't know it. I haven't learned it. I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
Pretty much
don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't know what you mean.
No?
All right,
it's a lot of the times it's difficult. You see, we can't go and find the song on YouTube and just automatically know how to perform the song. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not rehearsed, unfortunately, I don't do it because I pride myself in a strong live performance and being able to sing live. Auto-tune is not my friend in this.
You're not gonna take a song. You're not sure where the highs and the lows are on that song, and you're not sure if you don't want to get embarrassed when you can't reach them.
Correct. I mean, even something as simple as "Happy Birthday" in English, you can mess up.
Absolutely.
Actually trying to sing it, you know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And people are, even the drunk people are judgy. Yeah. So Congo Chris says here in the comments, the best Greek phrase he knows, I'm not going to try and say it in Greek, but he says it translates to "there is trouble in the gypsy village," which basically means who gives a shit.
Can you read that?
I don't know my glasses.
No, he's.
I'm not even going to try.
I can't even read that, to be honest
don't
with you.
try.
My eyes are not. I'm getting old.
Then people obviously start talking about food.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much here. So Slippery Pickle says, worst Greek food is the olive wrapped in wine leaf. If I wanted to chew bits of weeds, I could do it on the side of the road. But Dave says dolmades, they're the best.
Dolmades, that's very nice.
So
I've
there's
actually got a tzatziki craze this time. Man.
Oh, man.
Of tizaikai, sorry.
Yeah, because that's how that one woman says it, right?
Pronounced it, yeah.
So tzatziki is very, that's the, what that is, because you're
the
a
neighbor
chef.
that I complained about, that I argued with Trump, she's actually Greek, and she made a tzatziki for Christmas.
Oh, it's nice.
Very nice. Slippery Pickle must hate tzatziki because he's a pickle.
Yeah, that's true. But listen, there's nothing better. You go for metse at some Greek restaurant, you'll eat. Everybody's happy. There's always food left over at the end of it because you ordered too much, and you go home satisfied.
That's the nice thing about Greek food. It's even
and
when
Greek
you go to
people,
Greece,
man.
Yeah, correct. It's
let's be fair.
What's dolmades? I just saw it.
Dolmades is the vine leaf with the.
Is it? Okay.
Sometimes they use.
That's not the best.
Yeah, I know.
It's an acquired flavor. You got to.
Spanakopita's nice. I like.
Tiropites is like spanakopita, but with tiri, with cheese.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And then you get souvlaki is very good.
Correct. Gyro, I don't know.
Gyro.
Okay, I don't know. Yes. I made a lot of that on the cruise ship. Oh, I had to then they would line up buckets of. Is it pita?
Pita,
yeah, pita.
Bread, yeah.
Line up buckets of pita. Then I have my lettuce and my tomato and all that stuff. And the pork, and now I have to put all this together, but for 80 to 100 people.
No, look, it's nice to have. Actually, I don't know if you've ever tried avolemoni. It's translated as an egg lemon soup, pretty much, but it's not. It has egg and lemon in it. But it sounds revolting. It sounds terrible, but it's one of the best tasting soups. It's rice and chicken, pretty much. And what you do is you boil the chicken. You put once the chicken is boiled, you use the broth. You put the rice in. You put a chicken stock just to make it a bit more flavor. Then afterwards, what you do is you take the eggs and you mix it with lemon, and you mix it. And while you're mixing it, you take the soup, the hot water, and you put it in. But you keep stirring so it doesn't curdle the egg. And then afterwards, you put it all back in the soup, and then it makes the avolemoni. But honestly, it's amazing.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah, he's a chef, so
I'll
you
send you the recipe.
Yes, no.
And yuvarallakia. It's also more or less the same kind of concept, but it's with meatballs and rice. So you boil the meatballs and the rice, and then the rest is kind of the same as avolemone.
Congo says Kleftico is his favorite.
Kleftico, yes.
Stolen sheep or slow cooked lamb.
Correct.
Like
Kleftico is
that.
very
That's
nice.
very good.
Correct.
Okay.
And souvla.
Baklava, someone says here is very, very good. Souvli?
Souvla. You know, the big, the
yeah, that's
rotisserie.
when you
Correct,
cook
yeah,
it
that's
on
a very popular one as well.
All right. So tell us quickly, when it comes to like the language, you obviously, when you went to Saheti, you said so you can speak fluent Greek.
To a point.
No, I mean, how much? I know we've got those schools that teach Greek.
Correct.
And obviously people grow up learning from their parents.
Correct.
But, you know, it's not like for the French, for example, they have their Alliance Française or whatever. And the Italians, do the Greeks have anywhere other than the schools where they speak Greek and in the household?
You know,
are there clubs? Are there?
Yeah, churches, clubs,
Yeah.
venues, you know, obviously being amongst the Greeks, you spend a lot of time with them. I also think it's also up to you to take the initiative to learn. You know, when I was in school, I didn't see a point on learning Greek. You know what I'm saying? My family was Greek, correct, but I didn't take to it as much as, or I didn't see the importance of it as much as obviously I do now. And I wish I took it more seriously. Don't get me wrong, I did very well in Greek. It wasn't like I was bad at it. Obviously, grew up Greek family, and mom and dad spoke fluent Greek.
Yeah, but I mean, I know some Greeks who are very, very good and can speak it fluently, and then I know some who, like the other Greeks, start talking to them and they're
confused. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell to say.
Correct.
You know?
It's also
so it is. It's
depends on their surroundings.
It's up to everybody.
Well. Yeah, you see.
I am amazed, and I want to give some credit to the Greek community in this country because they're solid. I mean, like they're proud of their heritage. They speak the language mostly. They do things together as a community. I mean, I can't say I have anything like that. I don't know about you, but I don't have like a community.
Yeah, no,
it's not like, you know, there's enough Afrikaans or English or German or French or anything in me for me to be able to join one of these communities. So I'm just like on my own.
If I wanted my community, because I'm Afrikaans, I'd probably have to move to Orania. No, it's true.
I think a lot of
close. You live in Centurion. I mean,
do you know there's a like a similar type of Orania in Gauteng? It's called Klipfontein.
Really?
Yeah, Klipfontein.
And what are
they? I don't know. I don't know. I just know. I know someone who bought property there.
Really? Huh. Well, last time I saw you was probably in Centurion.
Yes,
at the gym there. There we go.
With my wife that time.
Which one? There's many.
That's right.
The one by,
I don't want to know.
You know that restaurant there around the corner? It was that one there.
So Slippery Pickle says, I know someone who teaches Greek. She stays on top of the corner shop she owns, which is in no way stereotypical.
It's the general drama, correct? I think also, I mean, just as an example, my wife is from Centurion side and, you know, very Afrikaans. And my wife obviously grew up in that area. And it was, I mean, it must have been difficult for her to keep up with the Greek community. That's because, you see, I went to Greek school, so it's different. But even so, growing up, you know, her parents took her to Greek school, like an after, you know, lesson sort of a scenario.
So she is Greek.
She is Greek, yeah.
But she didn't grow up Spanish. Like you did, right in it.
No, her mom is Spanish and her mom is Greek. Her dad is Greek, sorry. Okay. And, you know, they kept the Greek side properly,
sure,
which is nice. And, but yeah, my wife is as Greek as it gets. You know, she's got the Spanish look with the Greek as well.
Good mix.
But yeah, very good mix. And I think she's...
Just watch her when she turns like 40, 50 and she mustn't put on like a scarf and start sitting in front of the...
Like the old the full Greek,
exactly.
the black. Yeah, that's also true. So she's kept up with it. And she knows fluent Greek as well. And she's very in with the Greek music. And that's kind of how we clicked, you know, also being in with the Greek vibe of South Africa. You know, it's different.
So if you want to become part of this, you have to immerse yourself in it.
You have to learn Greek. Yeah, correct. You have to eat a lot of souvlaki.
You have to eat a lot, full stop.
You should want to do it.
You should, correct. Look, it's something, like I say, you know, your parents don't have to be Greek. Well, if your parents are Greek but they're not, you know, very Greek, if that makes sense. They don't speak fluent Greek, or I don't even know how to put it, but practice being Greek, if that makes sense.
Peter Iolano wants to know, when is the album release?
To be honest, I'm not releasing the album entirely.
You're going to release singles?
Release singles,
yeah. That's fine.
Yeah,
then
it'll be better.
Well, give him some, where do you mostly get the music? Where must you get it?
Instagram. I
Because-
saw some stuff on
Yeah,
Instagram.
I
my
mean,
stuff,
yes.
Instagram and TikTok and my YouTube channel.
Because that's all
as well.
changed too. It's not like you
Correct.
buy the music from the
No,
the,
no,
yeah.
everything's changed.
Yeah, now
there's no more
it's
CDs.
all
There's
online.
nothing. I mean,
If I can give you some advice, start uploading on X. You'll get way bigger reach there.
it's also true.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, these days, anywhere you can, right? Use as many
Yeah,
platforms as
yeah,
you can.
yeah.
That's also
Um,
true.
Didn't Seheti also produce the best matric results in 2024, says Carl? The Poras didn't open churches, they opened bottle stores.
The Greeks did.
He can
too.
say that because he's a Pora. But yeah, Seheti does have good results. They're
Very
always
good
up there
results, correct,
every
yeah.
year.
Very good.
And then Raven is looking for a fight here. So let's go. She says, there is always lots of Turkish food that the Greeks say belongs to them.
Which they
Turkish
do.
coffee, Greek coffee.
Correct.
Turkish, yeah, dolmades, dolma, Turkish baklava,
See,
Greek
dolma is from
baklava.
the Greek word dolmades.
Of course, yeah. And then Greek yogurt. I mean, there are lots of things, right?
It's slightly
The Turks
different.
claim stuff.
So slightly different. I think the Turks, well, they've got a version of tzatziki, but it's got dill inside. So it's like a different. I mean, I went to a Turkish restaurant with my wife the other day, and it tasted very
You
similar.
went
but it
to a
had-
Turkish restaurant.
I went
What
to.
did your
Don't tell my
parents say
father.
about
No?
that? Yeah, don't tell your
he
dad.
doesn't know. But
Jesus.
we went the other day, and it had a bit of dill inside, so different flavor. You know,
Mm.
it's all. I mean, it all comes from Greece. We all know that. You know,
Okay.
everything.
Well, of course.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
There's my favorite Greek joke in the whole world is Haristo. He lives on the top of the mountain in a small village on an island. He says, you see those houses there. I built those houses with these hands. Do they call me Haristo the house builder? No. So the kid goes, tell me more. He says, you see those ships in the harbor? I build those ships with my own hands. Do they call me the ship builder? No. He says, but fuck one goat.
That's a good one, actually. Terrible, but good. That's true. I think there's always going to be a stigma with the Greeks, and everything's invented by the Greeks, and you know, it's
Well,
always like that.
Listen,
They did do a lot. They did
huge amount.
correct,
I
correct.
was talking just last week about how democracy, total Greek invention, back in the time before Pericles in Athens, where every man would vote. They figured that out. Anal sex, also the Greeks, all the food, the music, drama, poetry, all of this stuff, the great epics. If you really want to have fun, read the Odyssey, you know, and I believe they're going to be making a movie on that soon, a big, like large scale, big budget Hollywood movie. They're going to make that really monstrous. So that I'm looking forward to. And Raven says the Greek men are much hotter than the Turkish men, so she can say that.
All the anal sex.
Thank you.
Who knows? But let's play a couple of like clips from Nico's stuff so we can let people see.
I hope it's the good ones. Eh?
Yeah, no, don't make it the shit ones. There are no shit ones. Come on, Nico. Let's not be like that. Let's take a look. Really good one. So tell us what the hell's going on there. For people who don't know, they'll think this is a ritual sacrifice or something. So what was going on? What are you Greeks up to?
So essentially, Zebekika is it's the drunken dance. It's more, you know, you can learn how to do Zebekika, but it's not something that is easily taught. It's more something that you learn growing up. So
the drunken dance you learn how to when you grow up.
Pretty much. So,
well, I mean, so do I. I
no-
mean, didn't you also learn to drunken dance?
pretty much, you know, I don't really know the history too much about Zebekika, but pretty much how you dance it is basically you're falling and you're trying to keep yourself up. Essentially, you know what I'm saying. So if you look at a lot
everyone,
of
yeah, in Shabins, you get that in Shabins a
you
lot.
get it a lot. Yes, correct. So you'll look at it and think, what the hell are these guys doing? But in actual fact, it's Zebekika. That's the one where they break plates and so forth. So that is Zebekika.
What type of Zebekika do you get in Boksburg?
I'm not sure. I don't think you get it.
The
in
rough
Boksburg.
ones, eh?
The rough
yeah, rough ones
most
with a lot of
probably,
Bronnevein.
probably.
And when they light the the alcohol on the floor and they break the
They
plates.
break
That's
the
all
plates,
part of
they
it. too.
burn. Yeah, and you got to be careful not to break the specific plates.
Yeah.
They're not porcelain ones. You got to break the
No,
clay
no, no.
ones
They got
that they
those
give you.
ones that they sweep up and then they make new
Correct.
ones again.
don't
I
you get
remember I was performing once and my mate came to me and they broke the porcelain ones from the kitchen and he smacked on the ground and it went straight through his hand and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and you go to hospital and I'm singing, I'm looking at my words and I'm looking at this and I'm
Blood
like,
everywhere and
everywhere. It was bad, all over the floor, and it wasn't just him that cut himself. So it's a dangerous. In Greece they've actually stopped breaking plates. It's not something that's
the
a big
health
thing
and
anymore.
safety people have got involved. huh?
Correct, yeah, most probably. So now they throw flowers. So now when you're on stage, they throw it at your face, and that's lekker. It's a lot of fun.
But it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
So
I'm
how
glad
do
that we've
you-
kept that.
How like for someone that's not Greek, if you go to a Greek party, how do you know which plate to break?
They must
There's
give
labels.
it to you. They must give
Yeah,
it.
no,
Look,
no.
the plate
It's
doesn't look
lighter
nice.
as well.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't,
doesn't.
no, so you can't eat off of it.
It's
not
a clay
dirty.
plate. No. It's like a clay. It's cracked, partially cracked as well. It's
I
it's
see,
not
okay.
anything fancy.
Okay,
And then it comes in a box. So if you see it on your table, don't use it. But they'll give it to you.
Huh.
Generally, they'll throw the box in the middle, and then you'll grab there, break it, smash it on someone's head. We've done a lot of things. It's been interesting.
Okay, so when the song you were singing there,
What was the
do you
song?
remember what it was?
Blank spot there.
All right, that's another
Oh,
one.
my Goime Elina, sorry.
Oh, what is
My
that?
Goime Elina. So it's But I Am Greek. Is
Oh,
the name of
wow.
basically.
Talk about
translated.
straightforward, eh?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So it's also a famous song, very popular. Also
All right. What
popular
are people? What are the most popular songs that you're almost sick of performing that they always ask for?
You see, the most popular ones have a little bit of history for me. So
Go on. I love that.
there's a song that was one of my first Greek songs that I started singing, which is Somamo, which means my body.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've been doing it since the school. We used to. My friends used to mock the lyrics, and I used to go on stage and sing the wrong lyrics. They used to say "Someone with elifagito," which means my body wants food. Sort of a scenario. So it's but just the history part of it. This was one of my dad's favorite songs, and every time when I was young, at every single event, my father used to dance Zebekika to the song.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's now. Although I've performed it thousands of times, it's
still
still
love it.
every time I sing it, I just think of my dad dancing Zebekika, and it's just brings back
That's
those
special,
memories,
man.
And then there's also Yenethlia, which is also very famous, also Basvakianaki. And this song was our matric song of the year, and our matrics loved it. And every time I perform it, I think of matric, and I think of the vibe that we had, because what was nice was our grade was predominantly Greek, and even if they weren't predominantly Greek, I mean, one of my mates, Faith, he's a black guy, he's not Greek. He's a fantastic Zebekika dancer. Like,
Really?
he dances Zebekika, got involved.
Shit, I want to see
he
that.
jumped in. I think I might still have some
But
video
like
somewhere.
like Bitcoin But said, I mean, at
Yeah.
the Shabines, you pretty much learn to drunk dance as well. It's not.
Correct.
That's not. It's a little bit of skill, but mostly just falling around.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
predominantly correct.
Yeah.
You just got to keep yourself back up. You know what I mean? So a lot of the songs have a lot of history for me, and there's also Espose Nichta Yokomatia, which is also a very popular song that I used to do. That was my mom's favorite song. So unfortunately, my mom passed away from cancer a couple of
I'm
years
sorry.
back, pancreatic, and I battled to sing that song for a very long time, very, very long time. And even when I sit in studio and I try and rehearse it, I battle because you just cry, 10 seconds in.
Because this is the thing about music is
It's
you
emotional.
associate it with memories,
Yeah.
and it makes you think of people. I mean, that's why I love music so much. The only
Correct.
time I do cry is when I'm listening to songs that are really important to me,
Correct.
that have deep meaning and, as you say, history.
And when you're singing it and you're emphasizing, I mean, a lot of the time, I mean, a lot of people talk to me about it. Do you understand what you're saying? Most of the time, I'm like, no, I don't even get a chance to listen to the translation. Sometimes I'll learn the song without even knowing what the song is about, not even bothering with what the song is about, because of the passion in the vocal. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain phrases and certain melody lines that you project that. I mean, even to this day, I've been singing songs for a long time that I'm going through the lyrics and I'm like, oh, that's what it means, because I don't actually read it. I listen to it for a very long time. It sticks in the head, and then you go and you perform the song, and it's something that has stuck with me. I've never really changed the way that I've learned the music. Also, sometimes you don't have time to learn the actual true meaning of
But
the
it
song.
is nice when you find out what a song means.
Correct. It is.
You know, you play it for the first time, and
Correct.
and you kind of get into who wrote it and why they wrote it. I love watching those YouTube videos of like the first performance of X by whatever artist. And we got into this the other day about concerts that people really love going to in South Africa. What sort of music do you listen to when you're not listening to Greek music?
To be honest with you, I pretty much only listen.
Only.
Well,
you have
actually,
to. It's like your research, right?
Correct. But it's also, I grew up listening to it only. I mean, my wife only started introducing me to English music as I started getting older. You know, I was into English classical and Italian classical when I was younger.
You could do a bit of opera and all
correct,
that
because
stuff.
I used to do it. Now I listen to more the Italian, French, you know, I can't even think of names of artists now, but like Maitre Gims, he's also, I think he's from Congo. He's a French singer from Congo, and he's made it very big in France. And
who are the biggest Greek singers in the world right now?
At the moment, the top singer at the moment is Konstantinos Argyros, also famous singer, well, massive in Greece. He came down now, I think the year before last year. There's also Andoni Remo has always been top. He's one of the legends, you know what I'm saying? Plutarchos is also one of the legends. Vertis is also, Nikos Vertis is one of the top at the moment.
And women?
Yeah,
it's not really a thing.
It is, but
in
it's
classical music, sure it is. You know, you got the big names like Maria Callas and people like that.
Correct.
But it's not really a big thing with
there
women
are
singers.
The big singers like Anna Vissi and
sure,
Anna Vissi and all of them. You know, I've actually
she's very crossover, Anna Vissi.
Yeah, she's jumped into a bit of new stuff as well, which is nice. It's nice to see her with the youngsters performing as well. She's done a few shows with some youngsters my age, a bit older. And it's nice to, you know, Greek music is predominantly male vocals. There are a lot of female okay, I'm also saying it as being a male vocalist. So I predominantly listen to male vocals because I perform. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure as a female vocalist, you would predominantly listen to female vocalists. But, you know, there are some beautiful songs. I mean, there's a song, Enafili, that I've actually been singing a lot lately. It's very passionate. It's by Argyros, the singer that I mentioned earlier, and Theodoridou as well. So it's a duet, a beautiful song, and it's very passionate and emotional. You know what I'm saying? And it's nice to get that combination of male and female vocals. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
The Greeks
like a duet.
They don't do it a lot. They don't do it a lot, which is unfortunate. But lately they've been doing some nice duets, and I think you know, each vocal is different, male and female vocal, and they help each other. You know what I'm saying?
They come together very well.
Like I love doing duets. I love performing with other male and female vocalists because it really gives you an opportunity to listen to the different types of Greek vocals.
And do you get people who are not Greek who also want to come and see you perform at concerts?
Plenty.
The rest of it, they buy your music.
A lot of my friends are actually non-Greeks and Portuguese and Italians, and they all want to come and listen to it. They enjoy the vibe. They enjoy the experience. Also,
because there is a vibe to it. We got some more of those clips. Play us one more. Yeah, let's go.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy...
All right, very good. That's I mean, it's beautiful. I really, I love it. It's tough and you sing difficult songs too.
No auto-tune, just yourself.
No.
This is the thing. All of my TikTok and all of my Instagram, I mean, I used to go through the process of sitting and recording in the studio and doing rehearsals, recordings, and sit and edit and then post. And I didn't feel the passion from it. And although the quality of audio is not the same, obviously recording live, I just feel that singing live is extremely important. a lot of singers nowadays.
Oh, please, man. Most of these
auto-tune's their best
most of
friend,
these
eh?
people you see on social
They're all
media,
fake,
then
you know what
that's
I mean?
all
It's
nonsense. They've
unfortunate.
had someone audio engineer the hell out of it. Sounds
Correct.
much better than it does in real life. And then when you see them in real life, you're disappointed. At least with you, the opposite's true. The people come and see you, they go, "Oh wow,
Thank
this
you.
is amazing." So, all right, what happened to your ear?
Okay,
What
so
the
just
hell
to,
happened there?
Just
Like
to
half
show,
the ear list
just to show
is missing there.
this side of the ear.
But did you and Trump go to the same rally in Pennsylvania?
Mine happened before Trump.
Okay. What happened?
My dog bit it off.
Jesus, what kind of dog is this?
I got a pit bull.
Oh my God.
Yeah, obviously
They shouldn't be
people...
pets. They should be kept in zoos.
Shame. Look, my dog is old. He's not a baby. He's 9 years old. I've had him since pretty much 6 weeks. And it was just a mistake incident. I went behind him, I gave him a hug, and I tightened, and he barked. And when he barked, he turned his head towards me, and it clipped on the ear, and I pushed him, and it ripped off. So,
oh, for fuck! Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So this actually happened last year. It was, I think, May last year.
Was there a lot of blood?
Plenty. Listen, I almost had to do blood transfusion. Like I bled out a lot.
Was there someone else at home?
My wife was home, fortunately.
So she could rush you to hospital.
Shame, she was actually in her pajamas and she freaked out seeing it, obviously. And I thought my finger came off initially because when I pushed my dog off, shame, he laid there. He didn't try and attack me or anything of the sort. He just laid there. He knew he did something wrong. In the moment when it happened, I said to him, go outside. He got up and he walked outside. He wasn't disobedient. He wasn't disobeying, nothing.
And you got the gun and then you shot him.
Well, to be honest with you, it was a thought in the moment because I always keep it on me. It was a thought in the moment.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because I thought if this dog flips and comes for me, I'll have to, unfortunately,
you're going to have to kill him.
Do what I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying?
The people who breed sharks with dogs should have known this when they made it.
You know. But, so anyway, shame. So my wife was home and she freaked out, and I was trying to find my keys, and I put
what do you got holding? You're holding your
ear? Towel on the ear. I grabbed the kitchen towel, put it on the ear, and I'm bleeding. But initially I thought it was my finger. So when I looked at the piece hit the floor, I thought it was my finger. So I'm looking because what happened was that my nail broke off when I pushed him off me. It clipped his collar, and my nail came off. And I thought, shit. And then I see a piece on the floor. I'm looking at my hands, and then I go into the microwave and I have a look, and I see the piece is missing. Obviously, I freaked out, because I thought the whole ear came off. I didn't. The ear actually contracted quite a lot, and I thought like he ripped the whole thing off. Yes. And anyway, so I get to now we recently bought a new house, and the house it's massive. To try find the keys was a nightmare. I ran downstairs, ran upstairs, ran downstairs,
and you panic in that moment. It's like it's like when you wake up.
In, so I was fine. But then when I got into the car, I realized rather don't drive. Now I'm by Linksfield there, so I'm literally like
because you could have passed out behind the wheel.
This is the thing. So I phoned my neighbor Alan Shane. Fortunately, he came running and he helped me out, and he got in my car and drove me to the hospital. I walk into the hospital and I said to the lady, I'm missing my ear. No, please take a seat. And I said, look, I'm blood all over me. The lady almost passed out when she saw it. I pulled it off, and I said, it's fine. Don't worry, I'll take a seat. I was pissed off. I turned around. And as I turn around, this guy just grabs me because you could see that I was
going to pass out.
At that moment, I realized I was at the hospital. Yes. Whatever happens, they will be able to help me. And the adrenaline just dropped, and I just, went straight down. I'm sitting there. She's taking blood, and I'm like, she's asking me 101 questions, and I'm not even there. You know what I'm saying? And then she tries to do the arm, and she couldn't fit it, and she had to get the thing and the one for the leg, and she put it. And I said to her, can we just go into the room, and she says, sitting there, no, I have to take all your vitals first. And I'm like, okay, and I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Look, I understand. I mean, I know that they have to make sure that you can pay for everything, which the whole reason that's what they're asking. Let's cut to the chase. They want to know that you can pay, and then they'll fix you.
Correct.
If you can't pay, you must fuck off to a government hospital.
This is the thing.
But
in that moment, you're not thinking about, did I take my wallet? Do I have my cards?
I mean, really?
I mean, my ear's missing. Yeah. I'm bleeding out. Fortunately, my wife and my dad were there, and my neighbor was there, so they helped with the whole situation. But if they weren't, and you went in on your own, it's the last thing you're thinking about. Sorry, Thea, what's your medical aid number?
Yeah. No,
I'm
please.
sitting there and I'm like,
you can't remember whether it's Monday or Tuesday.
Correct. You're lucky I gave you my name at this point. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, look, it was a traumatic.
But they couldn't put the piece back on.
They couldn't because the whole piece came off, and apparently it's very difficult to attach
it's cartilage,
the nerves and things.
Cartilage is very difficult.
Cartilage as well. Yeah. It was actually quite a hectic year for us. Shame, before my ear story, about 2 months before that, we got a little puppy, pit bull.
You've got to. When are you going to learn?
Shame. You know what? As much as there's a lot of hate
There's a lot
towards
of
them,
stigma on it.
my pit bull is the best dog I've ever had in my life. He's the most obedient dog, and I can even say to this day, even with the ear. I mean, when I told my friends, they're like, "Not Hercules." It's okay. His name's Hercules. Yeah, of course. It's impossible for that dog to act that way. I mean, he gets along with my cat, and he's like,
yeah,
very
you sound
chill.
like those women who keep going home to the husband who beats them. I just don't,
It's
you gotta
hard.
quit while you do.
It's hard.
Just stop with the.
It's hard.
I can promise you, my dog might do all kinds of terrible things, but the one thing that dog can never do is bite off my ear.
What dog do you have?
It's a tiny little
You see,
spaniel.
it's too small to get there. You see that?
No, well, this is the
But
point.
you know, the most aggressive dog in the world is actually a Chihuahua.
Well, them and Dachshunds are apparently
Dachshunds
very
are
young.
usually, yeah. No, every time I see
But
a
they
Chihuahua,
still, you
it's
don't,
like,
you
"Oh,
don't,
that's
you
know
don't
what I
hear
mean?"
horror stories about Dachshunds and Chihuahuas.
Because they can't do anything about it.
Well, that's
They're
why you
aggressive,
should.
but they tiny.
Again,
It's
Well,
also,
if I live in South Africa, I'd rather have a pit bull than a little
it's a
chihuahua.
security thing as well.
Well,
you
good
know.
luck to you when your ear's gone as well.
It's a sacrificial thing. You just got to sacrifice a piece when you see
Is
the
the dog
actual thing.
still alive?
He's still alive. He's still 100%. I haven't had an ounce of an
Does he
incident.
sometimes look at you and go,
Absolutely nothing,
looks a
you
bit
know?
hungry. I'm hungry for that.
It's like I enjoyed that flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? No, he's been fine. He hasn't had an outburst. Nothing.
Got a big
It's-
fright, probably.
He did, and shame he was avoiding me for a while afterwards. Like he was very skeptical. He wanted to, but scared, and I was also scared of him.
Yeah,
To
of
be honest with
course.
you, I was terrified of the dog for a while.
Shock on a
And
leash.
I was between putting him down and keeping him for a very long time. It was bashing my head about it, and obviously, hopefully, you know, my worst thought was if something happened to my wife or friends that came over and all of that, and
Yeah.
that was, I think, the worst part of it.
Have you now sorted out your shit with him?
Yes, yeah, I've sorted out. You know what I did? I held him down and choked him out, and then I think we asserted that dominance. He realized I'm bigger
Right,
than
you
him.
put the power
I
back.
tried to bite his ear, but I felt bad. You know what I'm saying? So, but I held him
think you
down.
should have
eh?
taken retribution.
It's my revenge. And you know what's
Shame,
funny? When he was a puppy, you know, everybody likes to cut their ears. And my wife's like, "Don't cut his ears." You know, it's shame. I feel bad, and I also felt bad for the dog.
Now you
And
think you
now
should
I'm
have.
like, should taken them all off, and his balls. Excuse my. We keep
Well,
those too.
There's a lot of dissension about the pit bulls.
Yeah, just to backtrack a little bit with a little puppy. Shame, we got a little puppy, and 3 days later she had parvo. So she came to us with parvovirus, and it killed us. It absolutely demolished us. I mean, at the time we were doing renovations, so we were between renovations and looking after the puppy, and in and out of ICU with the puppy. Cost a fortune as well, but you know, it killed us. That this little puppy, she was tiny. She had no one. She had us to look after her, and there was nothing we could do about it. I actually wrote an English song about it. I know it's, but you know, these moments kind of boost the music motivation.
Parvovirus is a very
It's
big
a big
thing.
thing.
Yeah?
It's a big
terrible,
thing.
man.
And when she passed away, we actually were contacted by an adoption home for pit bulls, and they said, "We've got one. Nobody's taking her, and we're worried we'll have to put her down." Also beautiful. Her name was Luna at the time. Well, we called her Luna. And I think a lot of what happened with Hercules was also because Luna was new in the equation, and he was confused and didn't know what was happening. And there was you know, it's like an alpha kind of
keep trying to
thing,
find someone to blame except the bloodthirsty monster on a leash.
Every
that
now
you
and then
keep
I
as a
just
dog.
do the intravenous one. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
You know, so anyways, and then after with Hercules, the adoption agency asked to take her back, the female, because they were worried that he hurts her. And at the time, I was also a bit concerned about it. So, yeah, that was our year. So, lost two dogs, had this story.
Okay, well, you know, at least they weren't, as someone says in the comments, Maltese poodles. No one likes those.
No, that's true.
You have dogs?
Yeah, we've got a Great Dane.
Oh, those are nice, man.
Yeah, he's
they're such lovely animals.
very clumsy.
Yeah.
A Great Dane mixed with a Boer bull.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she's vicious. Yeah, she does not care where she goes. She's a black dog.
Yeah.
So you don't see her
You
coming.
don't see her at night at all. Yeah, it's a problem, eh?
She's scary.
Yeah.
And then Jack Russell.
And she must be big as well.
Yeah, she's
Great
a unit.
Dane and Boer bull.
Oh, she's a unit. Yeah, she's about if I like, I'd say around 60 k's around there. Yeah?
Hercules is 65. He's a gorilla.
That's a big dog, eh?
He's a big dog, yeah.
And then my wife had beagles.
Beagles,
they passed away.
Beagles are
14
very
years
cute
old.
as well, yeah.
I
had
beagle.
Labradors and Jack Russells. And I still will go pit bull. I know.
Hope you gave the adoption agency an earful.
Shame, it was more of a mutual.
Yes.
They didn't contact me and say we're taking her back.
How did they find out?
Through social media, you know, obviously I posted about my ear story, and then
Oh, so they were
found
like,
out.
"No, you are no good for this."
Yeah.
Kick back.
You see, this is the thing.
See how I immediately assume the adoption agency guys are Greek as well.
Most probably.
Probably. I don't know.
So anyways, they contacted me. They said, look, we're a bit concerned because if he did that to you, what will he do to her? And at the time I was like, you know what, you're right. We don't know. He's an older dog. He's 9 now. And we didn't know how he would react. I mean, he's 100% with my cat. But then again, my cat is a thug. So she's evil. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
No, she's like, my wife will disagree with me. But that one, she's the neighborhood gangster.
Wow.
She's hectic.
Okay, well,
I've got 2 cats as well.
Two cats.
and,
It was
and
actually my
they
mom's
live
cat.
happily with the dogs?
Yes,
Get
because of
along.
me. I like.
My dog's got big scars
if
because of
you-
her.
If you're the alpha, if you put your dominance down,
You
then
set the rules.
everything's
Yeah,
the
no,
chicken. Like I was gone this
The
weekend.
chicken. You
Yeah.
also have a chicken.
Listen to this. So I was away this
He
weekend.
goes, "Oh, the chicken."
Like it's a normal thing to just have a chicken at home. I got in the
The
freezer.
chicken
but-
walks into the house now. Like
Yeah.
I went away the weekend, and next thing I come back, the chicken walks into the house. Fucking vacuums on the floor.
Gee whiz, I wouldn't mind a chicken.
All right, so what's the hierarchy here? You, then
I'd say the wife, me,
okay, the wife
I
is
think
on
it's
top.
the chicken
Then,
and then the
then
wife.
you
then the little Jack Russell is
in charge of the bigger dogs.
Usually that
Yes.
happens, though. The small ones, usually the feisty one.
she's the ears. So when she barks, the black dog comes, and then the Great Dane comes. But he stands like he doesn't even go off the porch. He's like, woof. And everybody needs to know, okay, there's a big dog here.
But isn't it weird that that's what happens in relationships too? You know,
What?
my wife is tiny and she's like, "Do this." I'm like, "Yes, man." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you guys know how to. You don't want to cause trouble in that.
No, we
Otherwise,
can't.
you're going to end up very, very sad.
If
Yeah.
your wife
All
happy laugh.
Listen, it's a pleasure to have both of you here today.
Oh, we finished.
What a fun way to start the day. Yeah, we've gone
Okay.
7 minutes over. Are you kidding? People are saying they're going to start their day. Bitcoin Boet, thank you very much, dude.
Lots
Lovely to
of fun.
see you. And thank you for visiting us. And thank you for the bread.
Big pleasure.
See the
Enjoy.
bread he made us.
I see,
He
yeah,
bakes,
I see.
he
Where's
bakes his
mine?
own bread.
I didn't know you're coming.
I'll put an order
I
in.
knew you
Nico,
coming.
thank you very much. Nice to see
That's
you
a
again,
pleasure.
dude.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, keep well and
Thank
keep doing the work that you're doing. It's
Thank you.
terrific.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Cheers,
everybody.
guys.
We will see you on Friday. Ciao.
Manus, haal je vinger uit mijn anus. Doe niet zo abnormaal. Doe niet zo animaal. Manus, haal je vinger uit mijn anus. Doe weg die poot. Of je krijgt een stoot.
Oh Nel, ik ben biseksueel. Maar ja,